Fellow Americans, I want to speak to you tonight about the troubling events of the past week.
I'm going to pull the whole thing down. I'm going to bring the whole fucking diseased, corrupt temple down on your head. It's going to be biblical.
How's it going, everybody? FCB here. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing fantastic, and I hope you're all in amazing spirits. Welcome to the Pulse here on the Freedom Channel broadcast. Okay, lots going on, ladies and gentlemen. Lots going on, may I say. Number one, we're being gaslit to the max. Let me tell you that much. Okay, with all this business going on, I mean, you're being gaslit. You're saying period gaslighting us. Yes, she's been gaslighting us. Bondi, forget about it. Bondi's gaslit us to the hilt, okay? And I'm going to show you what happened that day when Pamela Bondi got together with Congress and had that little catch-up, okay? And she's actually going out there and gaslighting everybody, and even the victims and the victims' family are behind her, and she couldn't even look at them straight in the face, okay? So there's and she's going around saying all this just crap, to be quite honest. Macy is being attacked by her. The thing is also, ladies and gentlemen, if it wasn't for Macy, let's be honest, Macy and Kana are the main ones that have put it out there. MTG copped the bullet as well. She went because of the exposure of the Epstein files. Now, the Epstein files, obviously there's many of them, and they've been redacted. Now, with these redactions, you can't do much when they're redacted because you don't have context. We've been through this many times. The thing is, they need to remove these redactions, ladies and gentlemen, so we can get some real justice. People are upset, and it's like, well, why are you upset? Taking it out on each other. Well, you should be taking it out on your representative, telling them, hey, remove those redactions. We need some justice. People need to take action. And then you got all these other cast of characters like Luma going out there. Are we still talking about the Epstein files? Yes, we are. We're going to keep talking about it, Laura, because you don't want us speaking about it. And neither does a lot of these, shall we say, conservative podcasters. They don't want to speak about it. Why? Because they're there to dirty the waters. Now, it's not about left and right. Let's get that correct. It is not about left and right, ladies and gentlemen. It is about the truth. It is about justice. It's about accountability. And it's about transparency. That's what it's about. Don't listen to those that go out there and make it out as if we, the ones that ask about wanting to know the truth, allowing them to demonize us. Why? Because we want to know the truth? No, sorry, we're not going to accept that any longer. We're not going to be called a bunch of libtards, for example, because, or painted a certain brush because they don't want us to know the truth, or it doesn't suit the narrative, or they're exposing those that they looked up to, like good old Kid Rock. Oh, yes, Kid Rock. Kid Rock and all the others, Elon Musk, because they're being exposed. Do you see what's happening? They're painting us with the libtard brush now. And we're not about the left or the right. We're about the party of common sense, as President Trump says it. Now, when I see what's the name? Shapiro, forget about it. He's ridiculous. Luma, absolutely shocking. And then you got these others. It's just, honestly, it's just, don't even bother. And then we got Piro. Piro decided to gaslight us with this one. Have a look at this, guys. It is so ridiculous. And it's like, people saying, oh, but it's part of the movie. Well, what we can do is prove the facts, evidence, and receipts. And we say that she's definitively part of the movie. Is she there to help Trump, or is she got a gun to the back of the head that we can't see? Anyway, this is the gaslighting. In another day of putting the worst, after this Epstein business, right, it's gone out there with the files and all that, we've got Piro coming out there saying another day of putting the worst of the worst behind bars. They are still, they're still out there. You're saying about putting the worst of the worst behind bars. Are you kidding me right now? They're still out there. The ones that have done all that filth are still out there. We just got 2 separate convictions for individuals distributing child pornography. The worst of the worst. Child pornography. What about the ones that have committed child sacrifice, child sexual activities, or pedophilia? What about them? Don't you consider them to be the worst of the worst? And she continues on. She says, if you know anything about anyone involved in this sick criminal behavior, well, let me tell you something, Piro. If you take off those redactions, we'll be able to help you even further. But no. Your FBI and your DOJ are the ones that put those redactions there in the first place. And we'll take it from there. No, we've given you all the opportunities to take it from there, but you are making it, shall we say, so difficult with your redactions. You are gaslighting us to the max. Do you see the ridiculousness, ladies and gentlemen, or is it just me? I can't believe it. Look, there are people on X, right? So she was out on, this is from her ex, right? And there are people, and she's riling up the hornet's nest. That's exactly what she's doing. People are angry. And, you should hear some of the comments, for example, towards her. Okay? One of them says, even your drunk false teeth, this is about Piro, is going straight to hell for that cover-up. So even her false teeth is going to hell. That's just how one of these people, they are voicing their, shall we say, their anger towards her. And it's not just that person. There's many of them. And we just fed up of being gaslit. We really, really are. Then you got Caroline, right? Caroline, it's not enough that we've got Lion Lutnick, right? Laughing boy Lutnick going out there, making a joke out of, everything. Laughing it up every time Epstein's mentioned. No, he's not laughing it up now, right? Then you got Caroline. Now, did you notice that Caroline, right, is not wearing her cross lately? No, she's not wearing a cross at all. But she's going around gaslighting to the max. Now, let me tell you something. I would consider this to be a demotion as a journalist, to go there all the way, pay money to travel to the States, go to their presser, which I could do. Being a journalist, I've got the access to do that. Now, why would I waste my own money to go and travel there to a press conference and be gaslit by her. And then maybe not even have the opportunity to ask a question. And the question that you're asked as a journalist is basically watered down and has to be approved by them. No. And then go all the way back. No, sorry. I'd rather go to Gaza, all right, and cover that business and, probably end up getting shot, but at least, I'll be having some dignity as a journalist, not that crap, all right? It's ridiculous. Now, she goes on about this Obama business, and she's saying about the Obama is the apes. It's a controversy, has triggered a deluge of comments on social media. So her attempt to simmer it down, right? So this Obama, the ape business, it stirred up a lot of problems and comments on social media, as you could probably imagine. And then she's trying to simmer it down, really. Okay. And then they're trying to blame. So Caroline's trying to blame others, like, someone did it. It wasn't, don't make a big deal about it. You know what I mean? No. Do you think that, President Trump does his own posts? No, he doesn't. He doesn't do it. There are others that do it, okay? But let me tell you something. If I was President Trump, I would be saying that guy is gone or that girl is gone out of here. You know what I mean? Because would you say that was done deliberately? Yes, done deliberately. Done deliberately to stir the pot. But it's just the gaslighting, ladies and gentlemen. That's the issue, the gaslighting. And I know what they're doing it for. We are in psychological warfare, as you know. And the more they stir the masses, think about it from this perspective. You got the masses that have been sleeping for a long time, right? They're the sleepwalkers, for example, and now you got to wake them up. So you got to do things to stir them up and wake them up, right? And obviously you got to gaslight them. And the problem is that we're stuck with this gaslighting business, and we are questioning our own reality at this point. Don't question your reality. Know that there are things that are happening for a reason, okay? Even though the Twilight Zone at the moment looks like a kindergarten, okay, because it's ridiculous, the amount of gaslighting that Pamela Bondi's done. Have a look at this. She went out there and she was supposed to be there for the handling of the Epstein files, right? How she was handling them. She was being asked questions, but no, she went off the script, right? What she said was she started going about the Dow Jones, about the stock market, and, well, the representatives there, House representatives, were asking her questions that were relevant to what's going on with the Epstein file. She was switching it. She was like, it was so far ridiculous that you can't call it anything else but a comedy horror show. And like I said, being in the Twilight Zone is like being on a holiday from what we're in right now. It's like she's lost her mind, realistically speaking. That woman has lost her mind. It's just so far gone, the shit that she's saying. It really is. And even people in the profession, lawyers, are questioning her, or not just questioning it, they're really giving it to her about her ethics, right? Because she's got none. And the way she's conducting herself, they're like, oh, I can't believe that she was like us. Yeah, they just want to distance themselves because she's a total embarrassment at this point. Now, like I said, is there an invisible hand with a gun to her head and she's doing all this weird stuff? Well, to me, that would make logical sense, okay? Why would you be doing that? That's like committing, like what do you call political suicide or career suicide, your reputation going down the toilet. Why is she doing it? That's why I'm saying there's got to be a reason for everything. But let's have a look at this little video here. Let's see if I can grab it. It's like I said, things have just gone to an nth degree of ridiculousness. Let's see if I can find it. Guys, in the meantime, how about a thumbs up? Great comments. Let's share this around the place. Let's get this message out there, because we want people to basically have their sanity in, shall we say, in check. And don't let this get to you, because I know it can be very difficult, especially what's going on. And what we need to remember is there are things that are happening for a reason, right? And we've just got to maintain, like I say, hold the line. It's very important that we do hold the line, because otherwise, forget about it. We're going to be a mess ourselves. Let's have a look at this video here, as she's basically talking about the Dow Jones. That's got nothing to do with the Epstein. Okay, let's have a look at this video.
The Dow right now is over. The Dow is over $50,000. I don't know why you're laughing. You're a great stock trader, as I hear, Raskin. The Dow is over 50,000 right now. The S&P at almost 7,000. And the NASDAQ smashing records. Americans' 401ks and retirement savings are booming. That's what we should be talking about. We should be talking about making Americans safe. We should be talking about, what does a Dow have to do with anything? That's what they just asked. Are you kidding?
Mr. Jordan, Mr. Jordan. Committee.
Yeah, what's the Dow got to do with anything, Blondie? It's got nothing to do with what these people are there for. Gaslit, pretty much. She is guilty, as I would say, as fuck, right? Only the guilty would put their head down and don't face the victims. The victims are behind her and the victim's family. Look at her. And she's saying about America, keeping America safe. How can you keep America safe if those perps are still walking around the place? So this is why I'm saying it's another form of gaslighting. And she's trying to gaslight everybody, even look, this is not about left and right. We must remember this. I'm going to put on the video now. We're going to watch the video together with Pamela Bondi and the, Congress. And the people have every right. So in Congress, they have every right because they represent the people. They have every right to ask questions of the Attorney General. And whether she agrees or not, she has to have a certain respect towards the answer, the questions given, and towards the members that are asking them. So she's doing everything the opposite. She's gaslighting, she's deflecting, she's projecting, she's doing it all. Now, I've been exposing her for a while now, ladies and gentlemen. You know she's been she's been paid by Qatar, consulting fees. You know she's got a little bit of a history. And people don't like it. That's the problem. The thing is, when you show the facts, evidence, and receipts, if the truth doesn't suit you, then what are you here for? The truth is uncomfortable, yes. But the truth is necessary to move forward. Are we going to continue to basically sit there and you want to make America great again? How can you make America great again if it's full of pedophiles, and not just America, the world? The world's involved in this. We're all involved. But how can you make anything great again when you've got the world full of pedophiles, right? Satanic ones as well. Leaders, elites, superstars. The power brokers are the ones running the show with everything, right up to top social media. You see, I've been through this many times. How are we supposed to move forward? Pamela Bondi has failed, just like William Barr failed, just like his predecessor has failed. They have all failed to do what was right, to do what was correct. Is it a future-proofed past? How the DOJ is corrupt. Yes, definitely. It is a future-proof past. In the past, they were corrupt, and now it's showing it again. The FBI, the level of corruption is being exposed. Think about it. Back in the day when President Trump was being witch hunted, the FBI had all that corruption, the CIA as well. All that now is being exposed, but using other people. It's another future-proof past, but it's necessary because now, think about this. In the past, they were showing how corrupt the FBI was, how corrupt the DOJ was. Who were they using? They were using General Flynn to show the corruption of the DOJ. He went through that system. And then, remember the FBI, the corruption with Comey and all that. So it's carrying on. Kash Patel is basically, there are things that are happening to expose that level of corruption as to what happened in the past. But now it's like we knew about it. So we knew about the corruption of the DOJ, the FBI, those three-letter agencies, but the people were still asleep. They didn't know about it. But how do you reintroduce a narrative? How do you reintroduce a narrative? How do you reintroduce a narrative and expose that corruption to, well, what's happening right now? You're looking at it. And now people, the mass consciousness is seeing how corrupt the system is, and they're screaming from the soapboxes, the DOJ is corrupt, the FBI is corrupt, or that we've known about that in the past. So it's a future-proof past. This is the genius part of it. And this is what I'm saying. When you look at it from the different standpoint, and you could see what really is happening, you get an appreciation of the genius of President Trump and the plan and all that sort of thing. You can see what's really going on, that they're doing this deliberately to do a future-proof past. That's what it's about. Well, Q, right at the crux of what Q says, it's future-proof past again. So they need to reintroduce that narrative, and it's being reintroduced. Now, that's what I'm saying. Where's the invisible gun behind Pamela Bondi's head? Because it's just so far ridiculous, so far-fetched that it cannot, how can I say, you, as someone from the masses, how can they not see it? They do it so deliberately, so much, shall we say, ridiculous, the way she's doing it, so they can grab the attention. Oh, don't you worry, they're grabbing the attention, all right? Because they grab the hornet's nest and they're literally shaking it and stirring it up, right? That's what's happening right now because of all the gaslighting. So the gaslighting is literally stirring the hornet's nest, meaning the mass consciousness, and they're like, wake up. You know what I mean? This has been going on for a long time now. Wake up. Do you see it? So this is what I'm saying. We've got to look at it from that standpoint and see exactly what's really going on. And in the end, we should know why was it done. We need to know this in the end, but we need to get through these processes at this point, the exposure, which is what Q says about the 20% needed for justice. We need that justice phase. We need that exposure. Now the mass consciousness, remember, they used to call us conspiracy theorists. Oh, they were talking about the tunnels. Conspiracy theorists. Well, there we go. I showed you the other day. It was in the mainstream media. They were talking about the tunnels underneath the Epstein Island. You know what I mean? Underneath the temple. Now it's out there. They were talking about now all the cannibalism. That's all out there as well, where it's in the Epstein emails talking about cannibalism. Cannibal Club. There we go. This is what I'm saying. All this exposure is happening right now. The acid, how Epstein bought all this acid. What, do you buy acid? Well, I'm going to go and clean the bathroom. Well, how many, I don't know, it was a ridiculous amount of acid that he bought What? No, we know what happened. Then people think it was only the Epstein Island. No. There was the Zorro Ranch as well. So there's a lot of other areas that they are needing to look into, as you know, that is coming to light now. Dark to light. A lot more is going to be coming out. Don't you worry, ladies and gentlemen. A lot more as we progress. But let's have a look at this. What I did was I did the video, and the video went on. Look, you know, obviously it went for hours, but I cut it down to 20 minutes. I cut down the main points. It's going to show how Pamela Bondi is continuously deflecting, projecting, gaslighting, trying to switch the narrative of, say, for example, they're talking about something, she's flipping it over. It's, to me, like I said, it's some sort of comedy, horror, ridiculousness going on. We just need to be, as I said, the observers. Don't get absorbed in what's going on around you. Please don't do it. Don't do it. There are so many people that are doing it, and I'm seeing it, and they're just falling over. And it's like, oh, come on, are you serious? Are you gonna have a hissy fit? Are you gonna get angry and pissed off and say, F you, FCB, I'm out of here, when I'm showing you the truth? Are you serious? Or are you just trying to find a scapegoat to take your anger out on? And let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, I'm no one's punching bag, and neither is my team, and neither is any one of you. Just because somebody gets frustrated or angry or pissed off, it doesn't give them the excuse to go around and use you as a punching bag. Sorry, that doesn't fly. You're going to do that, you're over and out. I'm not taking anyone's crap. We do this as to bring out the truth as digital warriors together. We don't need the flack. We don't need the, shall we say, the extra crap from people. And we're not going to take it. Anyway, let's have a look at this video.
Nick says that in 2008 he went to Epstein's home, says he had a massage table in the living room, that Epstein said he got one every day, that it was the right type of massage. He and his wife decide to leave and say they'll never be in a room with him again. Howard then says, I'm sure the Epstein stuff is all on video. He was the greatest blackmailer of all time. Well, how would Howard know that? But now the files are public, and in 2012 we found out that he and his family are on Epstein Island after Epstein pled guilty to state charges. I'm from Florida. I take my family to Disney World, not to Epstein Island.
Didn't see one tweet when Joe Biden was in office about Bill Clinton. Didn't ask Merrick Garland anything about Epstein, not once when he was
Weak sauce.
And also, I want the record to reflect that, you know, with this anti-Semitic culture right now, she voted against a resolution condemning.
Oh,
is
Jewish. I just want to be clear.
Oh,
do you want to go there, Attorney General? Or do you want to go there? Are you serious? Talking about anti-Semitism to a woman who lost her grandfather in the Holocaust.
Did you hear that? She gaslit a lady that's, you know, she's obviously in Congress about being anti-Semitic, where her grandfather was in the Holocaust. That was done deliberately, because if you watch her, she's got a folder, right? So she's got a folder there, and on that folder, she's got the history. So on the folder, she's got the history. You'll see a binder there with all the different, shall we say, Congress people and their history. And she did that deliberately because she laughs about it. So rather than swallow her pride, she laughs about it. Have a look at this.
My time.
Really?
The committee will be in order.
Talk to Jared Wise about anti-Semitism.
The ranking member knows that.
Can I get like 30 seconds back, you know?
Yeah,
And she just laughed. Did you see that? I mean, that to me, it was done with intent. Did you see it? This is what I'm saying. It was done with intent. So she's got a binder there, and she goes, right, she knows, let me tell you, she knew that lady over there that's, you know, obviously part of Congress has that history, And she used that little anti-Semite thing against her because she knew she was going to get that reaction. Yes, definitely, I would say that was done deliberately by design.
I think
took
the whole committee knows I've been very generous.
Now, I'm not saying that the president is a pedophile, but there is a lot of evidence in these files that suggests that he's very close friends with a lot of men who are pedophiles. What's crazy about all of this is just that this is a big cover-up. And this administration is engaged in it. In fact, this administration is complicit. Fact of the matter is that you will be remembered as one of the worst attorney generals in history. An attorney general who has prioritized obstruction over justice, corruption over the law, fealty to the president over loyalty to the Constitution. And Mr. Chairman, I will yield.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And General Bondi, thanks for being here. Did you have anything you wanted to say before we talk?
I do. Thank you, Congressman. Thank you, my friend, for many years. I find it interesting that she didn't even want to try Congresswoman Crockett to ask any questions because she certainly did not condemn her leader, Hakeem Jeffries, for taking money from Jeffrey Epstein after Epstein was convicted. And I will be brief to give you your time, Congressman. This is what she didn't want to talk about. Texas, from Cuba, convicted, homicide, arson, weapon offense.
Convicted.
You know,
You know what she just said? She goes, convicted, right? So what the Congress lady was saying, well, at least they were convicted. That was the point. Convicted. Yeah, no, they were convicted. That's the point. They were convicted, but you're letting the others go. She's just shooting herself in the foot.
What are we talking about? Convict some of these perpetrators that rape these women that are sitting behind you that you refuse to even acknowledge they are here.
I know she did refuse to acknowledge their existence. Like I was showing you, it's just ridiculous. I mean, have a look at that. I mean, have a look at this. There you go. She refused to acknowledge them. There they are, behind, putting their hands up. And she's like, who are they? Oh, she's right. Anyway, let's continue watching.
I want to discuss another man, Donald Trump, who is all over the Epstein files. Like former Prince. Here's a video. Like former Prince Andrew, Donald Trump attended various parties with Jeffrey Epstein. I want to know, were there any underage girls at that party or at any party that Trump attended with Jeffrey Epstein?
This is so ridiculous.
Do you see what she comes back to? Do you see her demure? Put aside that they're Democrats that are asking her questions, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, it's not about the left and right. Have a look at her, the way she conducts herself as an attorney general. So she's supposed to be nonpartisan. But you could tell what she's doing is she's making it all about them. She's got the folder there and she's supposed to be answering their questions. Now, she's going, look at her face. She's just treating it as if it was a joke. And she's not being serious. Okay? And you got to ask yourself this question. I mean, is it being done by design? Pretty much. Anyway, let's continue on.
And that they are trying to deflect from all the great things Donald Trump has.
Now, what did she just say? To deflect. Have a listen. You got to look at it. She says to deflect. What is she doing? It's like she's telling people what she's doing. She's deflecting the answer. This is why I'm saying you got to look at it from the standpoint that this has all been done by design. This is political theatre. That's why we say you're watching a movie, because it is political theatre that you're watching. But it's exaggerated political theatre. That's the difference. But anyway, let's continue on.
Done. There is no evidence that Donald Trump has committed a crime. Everyone knows that. This has been the most transparent presidency. He's the one that asked that those files
I'm reclaiming my time.
be
I got your
released.
answer. You said there's no evidence.
Trump asked
Mr. Chairman,
that
please
they
stop the clock.
sign
Stop the clock.
the legislation. This is
Time.
this
I'd like
is
to take my
ridiculous.
time.
Time belongs to the gentleman from California.
Okay. I'm going to put up another document from a witness who called the FBI's National Threat Operations Center, because I believe you just lied under oath. There is ample evidence in the Epstein file.
Don't you ever accuse me of a crime.
I believe you just lied under oath, and this is all on videotape. You said there's no evidence of a crime. I'm showing you, here is a witness statement who called into the FBI's Threat Operations Center. He drove Donald Trump around in a limo. He overheard what Donald Trump said to Jeffrey on his cell phone. He was so angry, he was going to stop a limo and hurt Donald Trump. And he met a girl who said she was raped by Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. She later had her head blown off, and officers at the scene said that could not have been suicide. No one at the Department of Justice interviewed this witness. You need to interview this witness immediately. Epstein should rot in hell, so should the men who patronized his operation. And as we sit here today, there are over 1,000 sex trafficking victims, and you have not held a single man accountable. Shame on you. If you had any decency, you would resign right after this hearing concludes.
The gentleman has expired. Yeah, I don't know how you respond. No one can.
I did not ask a question,
But
Mr.
he doesn't
You're
want
allowed
to talk
to.
about
I did
the
not ask a
horrific
question.
crime in California. He does not want to talk.
Okay, so can you see what she's doing? She's referring to her binder. So she's got her binder there, right? She's got a binder, and she's going and flipping through pages. Could you hear it? She's just going flip, flipping through the pages. Like, here we go. This is on you now. It's supposed to be about Epstein.
Talk about
I did not ask a
crime
question.
in his state.
You can't just
Madam Attorney
ad-lib
General.
stuff. I did not ask a question.
Committee will be.
How many lives have been derailed because your department was either sloppy and incompetent or willfully trying to intimidate and punish these ladies for coming forward?
Your time is up. No, that's not up to you. Do you see how ridiculous it is? She's telling the Congress person, because they've got a time limit, it's not up to her to tell them when their time has expired. It is up to Chairman Jim Jordan, who was conducting that, not her. Do you see what I mean? So this is all so far-fetched, so ridiculous, so illogical that you think to yourself, is this some sort of, I don't know, are we stuck in some deranged version of the Twilight Zone? Because you can't help asking yourself that question with all the gaslighting, all the deflection, it's just gone above and beyond. Anyway, let's continue watching.
I don't want that to get away. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Behind me, I have 3 documents from the DOJ production that are emblematic of the massive failure of the DOJ to comply with the Epstein Files Transparency Act. To my right is an email that was sent by the victims' lawyers to the DOJ. It was a list of names not to redact, a list of names not to release. What did the DOJ do with this email? They released this email in the document production. Literally the worst thing you could do to the survivors, you did.
Can you believe that? They are supposed to protect the victims. That is the law, ladies and gentlemen. That is the law. They're supposed to protect the victims. What did they do? They did the exact opposite. They did exactly the opposite. They go and redact all the predators, all them, but then they didn't bother protecting the victims. Do you see how illogical everything is? And what it is this. It's like, you screw around, we're going to show you what we're about. We're going to release your personal information. And you'll hear in an interview later on with when they were interviewing the victims, what they were saying, how they took it as Pamela Bondi as doing that deliberately, and the FBI as a threat towards them. Okay, and they said we just took it and we empowered ourselves. We didn't bother, we just went along. We took it in our stride. However, they failed. They literally failed, because you know what? It's by law. She by right should resign, and not only resign, they should all go to jail, because they really did a huge breach. And Thomas Massey is actually exposing it. Is exposing that they did a breach. Let's continue on.
And they're getting phone calls. A lot of these people didn't want to be known. And we know you touched the document because you redacted one name and you redacted the lawyer's name, but you left the survivor's name there. The next document I want to show you, that was in the title, the victims' survivors' names, all right? The title of this one is Child Sex Trafficking, Co-Conspirators, fully redacted. And by the way, I'm going to unredact them here. Les Wexner is in this. Now, your deputy attorney general said, oh, well, he appears hundreds of times in the files, but he doesn't appear in this file until I forced you to release it, where he's listed as a co-conspirator, not to tax evasion, but to child sex trafficking, not to prostitution, not to money laundering, child sex trafficking. And then finally, what we have here is the third exhibit that I have is emblematic of the FD302 release. These are the documents that we need, that you're holding on to and over-redacting because they have the names of the men who are implicated. How do we know? Because the survivors gave testimony to the FBI, and it's in there. And what happens when you go to the portal at the DOJ to look at what's behind this redaction? Another redaction. So we can't even see them. And then there's some of these files you've pulled down from the website that we will never see because we can't search the redactions. So I have several questions for you. Who's responsible? Are you able to track who in your organization made this massive failure and released the victims' names? Are you able to track who it was that obscured Les Wexner's name as a co-conspirator in an FBI document? Do you have that kind of accountability?
I believe Wexner's name was listed more than 4,000 times.
Yeah, I already told you that. This is where he's listed as a co-conspirator.
Can I finish my answer? Come on, let me finish my answer. We corrected that within 40 minutes. He was already, you're acting like everybody's trying to cover up Wexner's name.
Reclaiming my time.
I'm going to answer this question.
Reclaiming my time. Mr. Chairman.
This is how this works.
Can I have my time back? Mr. Chairman.
The gentlelady can give her answer. The time belongs to the gentleman from Kentucky.
All right, I'm reclaiming my time.
Can I give my answer?
So I'm going to put the language of the bill up on the screen.
Chairman, may I give my answer on that? It's a political joke, and I need to give my answer on that.
We'll let the Attorney General respond, and then the gentleman can move to his next question.
It's my time.
Within 40 minutes, you asked me a question. Within 40 minutes, Wexner's name was added back.
Within 40 minutes of me catching you red-handed.
There was one redaction out of over 4,700, and we invited you in. This guy has Trump derangement syndrome. He needs to get. You're a failed politician. You need to get on these matters.
Do you see how she made it about? Do you see how she deflected it? She said that Macy has got Trump derangement syndrome, that he's a failed politician. She has overstepped the boundaries of her professional, her ethics. Gone. Her professional ethics have gone out the window. She's making it about him now. Trump derangement syndrome, a failed politician. And this is what I'm saying. It's not about the left and right, because people will say, oh, let's be honest, ladies and gentlemen, because you know what? People were saying only the left do that business. No, have a look right there. It's the right side as well. It's on both sides. Both sides of the coin use deflection, projection. They're using exactly the same tactics as what the left are using, because it's not about the left and right, and she's deploying it. She's projecting it, she's deflecting it, and she's doing exactly what the left were doing. Remember back in the day when Biden was supposedly running the show, we had all that gaslighting from the left and all that sort of stuff. Now the right are doing it. You can see it. It's not about the left or the right. They all serve the same beast. Macy is exposing it. He's literally exposing it. And then you got these, let me tell you something. There's a lot of these little right side, what do you call them? Influencers, yes. Like Cat Turd. That clown right there. I don't know how anyone, number one, can take anyone serious, take that idiot seriously that talks shit, right? Cat Turd. He's made millions of dollars from his stupid merch. He goes around making all these little snark comments based on thin air and crap, right? And people honestly turn him into some sort of megastar more like it. He said this on our podcast tomorrow, I'm going to go the fuck off on fraud Thomas Macy. Well, Mr. Cat Turd, you're going on what Mr. Thomas Macy is exposing what's going on with the Epstein files. If it wasn't for Mr. Macy, okay, what are you on that list, Mr. Cat Turd? Did you go to Epstein Island? Are you trying to protect your little cat litter? Or are you there to dirty the waters deliberately? He's saying, look at this. This is what I'm saying. Do you see how Macy's going out there and he's copying it from the right as well? Because, look, Luma, are we still talking about Epstein Island? That's boring. That's boring. This is boring. Then you got Cat Turd going to go off on Thomas Macy. What are you going to go off for me, mate? And let me show you what I'll do to you. Okay? In his political life and his personal life, the gloves are off. Yeah, come here and I'll show you what the gloves are off like. I'm going to expose the scumbag. No, we're going to expose you. We're going to expose you for who you are, Mr. Cat Turd. That's coming your way very soon. Because I'm going to grab that cat and I'm going to skin it. All right? I've got nothing. I love cats. I love animals. But this one right here is going to cop it. Okay? Because he's gone out there and he's deliberately gone out there and dirtying the waters. And this character, he's going out there and making a shitload of cash. And who's actually enabling social media? This is the world that we live in, that we're actually listening to an idiot called Cat Turd. Seriously. Anyway, let's continue on watching this.
Chairman, please restore his time and remind the witness of the rules here.
There is no credible information. None. If there were, I would bring the case yesterday that he trafficked to other individuals.
Did you hear that? That was done deliberately. They played Kash Patel committing perjury in the background. Did you hear it? He's actually doing what Brennan did. It's an actual future proves past, ladies and gentlemen. So Brennan in the past did exactly the same thing as to what Kash Patel was doing. So Kash Patel's saying that, that if he had the information, he's trying to sweep it all under the table, just like Brennan did back in the day, okay, and others like Comey. He's doing exactly the same thing. He's committing perjury. You can hear it in the background. Let's continue on.
Is that your position as well?
My position is any victim who comes forward, of course, we would love to hear from them. 1-800-CALL-FBI. Did you ask Merrick Garland that the last 4 years? Did you talk about Epstein?
I am reclaiming my time. I'm glad you're asking about Merrick Garland.
You don't get to reclaim
because
time
this
when
is
you don't-
bigger than
when you can't-
Watergate.
when I don't answer a question the
This
way you
goes
want.
over 4 administrations. You don't have to go back to Biden.
You know, when he said this is bigger than Watergate, you know what came to my mind? The Q drops. Because it does mention about the Watergate business. Remember that? In the Q, let's see if we can find it in the Q drops, ladies and gentlemen, because it was in the Q drops. Okay, and we know that Obama was on Epstein Island. That's all coming out. We know that he's involved in it. Okay, and we know, there we go, look at this. So in the Q drops, you got here, Watergate times 1,000. Did Hussein contact Matt Murray in an attempt to persuade not to publish? Will Murray follow the truth or buckle to the pressure? DC Civil War, Watergate times 1,000. So Watergate's been mentioned. Then you got this one here in this Q drop 4771. So you got Obama, Watergate. You got the comparisons, and we know Obama was involved in Epstein as well. So you got a lot of mentions. Here we go. Equal justice under the law as written, transparency, accountability, justice is the only way forward. Well, that is very relevant to what is being said now. We need accountability. We need transparency. We need disclosure. We need equal justice under the law. What has Pamela Bondi done? Failed. She has failed miserably. It's another future proves past. It's exposure of the DOJ. And it's also exposing the executive branch. Remember, who was involved in Epstein Island? Obama was. Think about it from this standpoint. Obama was involved with Epstein Island. Hillary Clinton was part of it as well. Those entities were part of the executive branch. So then you got the future proves past of the executive branch, failure from there, because they were corrupt. Then you got a future proves past from the DOJ, and then the legislative branch. So they're all showing how corrupt and but the thing is now is what's interesting is that the legislative branch have gotten together and they've shown it's not about the left and right, okay? It's about, as Q says, preserving our way of life. Now, accountability, justice is the only way forward. We've been saying that. We need accountability. How can we have accountability if justice is not doing what it's supposed to do? You know, to be able to unredact so we can get context, so therefore they can start indicting and arresting those entities. So there again, we've got Watermark times 1,000 mentioned there again. Bigger than Watergate, biggest scandal in US history. Crickets? Oh yes, the crickets are everywhere. So my point is this, is that Watergate is being mentioned over and over again. And then remember also, with the Watergate Commission, they actually kicked out Hillary because she was too corrupt. But like I said, look at that. Think termination of senior DOJ, think termination of senior FBI, think resignations of Congress, think resignation of senators, think resignation of CEOs, think seal indictment counts. Watergate 1,000 attacks will only intensify logical thinking. Ask yourself the simple question, why? Epstein Island is basically the start of this. It is literally the start of it. Like I said, why would Macy, or what would they say about Watergate? Specifically Watergate, because they know that is also in the Q drops. And they know that we're going to go to the Q drops and find that information out. So we know 5 of 5 comms are clear. Thank you very much, Mr. Macy.
Let's go back to Obama. Let's go back to George Bush. This cover-up spans decades, and you are responsible for this portion of it.
And that's
now,
where the
I want to know, at what point did the FBI and the DOJ decide that Lex Wessner was not a co-conspirator? Because our Epstein Files Transparency Act requires you, please put it back on the screen, please, to release the internal decision about whether to prosecute him or not, and it's not in the files, and it's not in the files for any of these other men.
Time of the gentleman has expired.
May she answer?
And he's a hypocrite because he voted against the ban that we were talking about on deep fake AI porn. Only 2 people voted against it, and you were one of them, hypocrite.
The gentleman's time has expired. She didn't answer the question.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, could she answer the question?
Chairman, I was wondering. The gentlelady's allowed, the Attorney General's allowed to respond the way she wants to respond to any member's questions, Republican, Democrat.
All right, I have unanimous consent request.
Gentleman's recognized for a UC.
All right. This is an example. I'm submitting these 302 forms that are entirely redacted, even when you go to look at them.
Without objection.
I'm submitting a witness statement that implicates Les Wexner.
Without objection.
I'm submitting an article from the New York Times that the DOJ released nude photos and identifiable pictures of the victims. I'm submitting a letter from A.G. Bondi to Kash Patel, imploring him to quit keeping the files when you found out that they were keeping files from you, because they're still redacting files.
Chairman, are we going to recess for votes?
Yes, we are.
I'm submitting for unanimous consent a document of 17 individuals who've resigned because of the Epstein files.
Without objection.
Now, I just stopped it there. I want to show you something in the Q drops. Wexner's mentioned. So here we go. So we got here 4727. We know that Les Wexner was the founder of Victoria's Secret, and we can speak about that to the cows come home. Now, Victoria's Secret reportedly continued to work with modeling agency after it was accused of supplying underage girls to Jeffrey. So Wexner is implicated in QJOF 3365. Les Wexner, founder of Victoria's Secret, connect the dots. Okay, Epstein, Wexner. The story goes much darker and deeper. Yes, it does. Les Wexner, founder of Victoria's Secret, connect the dots. Now, that's another time we need to go through that, but Les Wexner is fully implicated. He's a conspirator now. Before he wasn't. He was protected. My question is this: why are these co-conspirators that have been mentioned, the Sheikh, all these others, are still roaming around the place? Why? Why aren't they perp walked right now? Because it's showing and exposing the corruption of the FBI, the DOJ. Future proves past again. But justice is needed.
Point where she had this kind of like she was looking at her binder a lot, and she had a lot of insults or comebacks for these Democrats and Republicans.
That's the binder, ladies and gentlemen, that she had there with all these, shall we say, these Congress people, their names and their history. So she could have something to be able to throw in their face. They were there to ask questions about her handling of the Epstein files, and yet she made it about them. She brought it and made it personal, totally against her professional ethics.
Do you know which presidential administration under which the PIN was first created?
I can tell you what administration that the weaponization was ended under.
I'll reclaim my time. This wasn't a trick question.
You don't get to
Madam Attorney
reclaim
General.
your time.
Madam Attorney General.
Because I don't like it.
Mr. Chairman, will you explain to the witness that he
She's actually saying that he can't reclaim his time. That is up to the chairman, which is Jim Jordan, not up to her. So she's continuously going and overstepping the mark. This is done deliberately. Like I said, where's the invisible hand? It's showing the level of, but it's taken it to the nth degree of how ridiculous this whole thing is. And it's to awaken people and to stir the hornet's nest. And it's been done deliberately because people are angry. You should read the comments out there.
Does reclaim his time.
Because I don't answer a question to your satisfaction?
Mr. Chairman.
Madam Attorney General, the time belongs to the gentleman from Colorado.
The president under which PIN was created was Gerald Ford. It was created after Watergate. I'm not asking a question, Madam Attorney General. The administration under which it was created was Gerald Ford. When you first started as the Attorney General of the United States, there were 35 people working in that office. There are now 2 people working in that office because you have gutted it. How many people work for the National Cryptocurrency Enforcement Team?
What is he doing? He's exposing what they're all about. So he's saying that you gutted it, you gutted that division, but instead you're more concerned about the money, about the crypto.
Criminal division today.
Can I answer the question about PIN?
So he asked her originally about the PIN, and then she gaslit him, and then he basically asked her about gutting the department, and now she's going back to what he asked her originally about. You see what I mean? Have a look at her demure, the way she's conducting herself. It is just so far-fetched. You got to look at it from that perspective.
I've asked you a question. How many
You've
people
asked
work?
me a question, but you don't
How
want
many
the
people
answer.
work
I'm not
for the
gonna answer your
National
questions the way you
Cryptocurrency
want.
Enforcement Team? You won't answer how many
I'll
people?
answer PIN.
You.
PIN will not be
you know what?
weaponized.
You know what?
What's
Madam
funny
Attorney
about
General,
this?
I'll say to the chairman.
What's funny about
Mr. Chairman,
this?
you know what the answer is? And I think I
What's
understand
funny
why the
about
Attorney General
this?
does not want to answer the question. Because you eliminated the National Cryptocurrency Enforcement Team last year. So I understand why you don't want to tell the American people who works there.
Yeah, I
no one
understand
works
why
there
you don't want to
anymore,
talk about
Madam
Mohammed
Attorney
Solomon
General.
in
So-
your district.
So he's saying that she eliminated the team. So what? So there's no regulations on crypto, that these criminals can do whatever they want, pretty much.
In any event,
Who
I would
murdered people?
Mr. Chairman, will you stop the clock so his time is not wasted by the witness?
I find it.
How many have you indicted?
Excuse me. I'm going to answer the question.
Answer my question.
No, I'm going to answer the question the way I want to answer the question.
No,
Your
you're going to answer
theatrics
the
are
question the
ridiculous.
way I asked it.
Chairman
How many have you
Jordan, I'm not going to.
Now, Nadal has been also mentioned on the Epstein emails as well. However, that's the question. I mean, there are people there that are mentioned in the Epstein emails. Why aren't they, I don't know, brought to justice? Why aren't they questioned? He's saying, why isn't anyone been jailed yet or indicted?
Get in the gutter with these people,
How many
but
of
I'm
you-
going to answer the question.
How many have you indicted?
Again, the time belongs to
Reclaiming
the,
my time.
the time belongs.
I think it's very
Reclaiming
interesting.
my time.
I think it's very
Reclaiming my
interesting
time.
And you can
that
reclaim
he
your
talks
time,
about
but
they
reclaiming my time,
indicted.
Mr.
The
Chairman.
president said they
Close the
indicted
clock.
him twice.
Mr. Chairman, please
They
stop the
sure
clock
did.
and stop
he
the clock and
indicted-
restore his time.
Okay, here we go with these
Committee will be in order.
theatrics.
The time belongs to the gentleman from New York.
Even Jim Jordan's saying the time belongs to Nadler. And she's still going on.
We will give you a few more seconds. We will do that. But when
Reclaiming
you ask
my-
a question, the witness
question
gets to
was-
answer. You may not like the answer, but she gets to answer.
Question was,
You can let her filibuster all day long, but not on our watch.
Reclaiming-
Not on our time. No way. And I
Reclaiming-
told you about that, Attorney General, before you started.
So what he's saying about filibuster means like it's like blocking. So what happens? It's a tactic that they use. So this is what I'm saying. This is like political theater. What they do is each congressperson has a time, an allocated time, and they've got to say what they have to say within that allocated time. And when the other retorts, they say things deliberately without answering the question, just to chew the time of that congressperson so they can skip that question entirely. That's exactly how it works. That's why they're saying, I've got to reclaim my time. I need my time. I reclaim my time because they're going to ask that question again later on, because she's doing it deliberately, and it's a tactic that they use. Not just the right, the left. Both of them use it, and they know it. So they use a filibuster. So that's what it is, ladies and gentlemen, and he's exposing it.
You don't tell me.
Yeah, I
anything,
did tell you because we
washed
saw
up
what you did in the
loser
Senate.
Lawyer, not even a lawyer.
This portion Right now, we can't go backwards. All the other people, Bill Barr, who, by the way, his name does appear in some of these files, Merrick Garland, Bush, Obama, all of them, they all failed. They all failed, which is why we reelected Donald Trump in part, to fix this problem. And now it's on your plate, Pam Bondi. You took that in by taking this job. It was Donald Trump that made sure Epstein and Maxwell were locked.
This guy right here is very interesting because he's with Newsmax, and we know Newsmax is under Chris Ruddy. Chris Ruddy is pro-Zionist, pro-Israel, Bibi Netanyahu's best friend. Yet this guy here is going against Pamela Bondi. He's saying we elected President Trump for a reason, and that is so we can get real justice. And he's throwing it in Pamela Bondi's face now. Have a look at this.
Up in his first term, and then Bill Barr sat on all the stuff that's being hid now that's coming out.
So he's actually, if you listen to what he's saying, that President Trump entrusted you, Pamela Bondi, just like he entrusted Will Barr, and you both have failed. That's what he's trying to say in essence. If you really pay attention, he's saying President Trump, because as a president, you basically allocate these people to do the job, to do what is right, what is correct. And what he's saying is both Bill Barr and you, Pamela Bondi, have both failed.
No doubt, Pam Bondi, you drew the short straw to try to uncover something hidden, like Massey said, for decades. Probably the biggest scandal since Watergate. But that's the job.
An example, I'm submitting these 302 forms that are entirely redacted.
You see why people like me are still thinking that this is a cover-up? A 302 form is an FBI interview with a suspect or a witness or something. Why are hundreds of them fully redacted?
Do you see how he operates? It's genius. So he's basically exposing the fraud of the DOJ. And it's another future-proof past. So things that you got to look at things as in exposure. That's what it's all about.
This is either a cover-up or it's incompetence.
It's a cover-up or incompetence. It's actually put it out there. That's genius. Like you can see, you can look at the genius of what this is, all about, what's going on.
Have you apologized to President Trump?
Now she's making it about them. In the past, so think about this, right? This is the genius as well. So in the past, Bill Barr was the Attorney General. He said he failed. And then he future-proofs past again. She took on the reins. You wanted it, and now you failed. So he was exposing Bill Barr and those who were running in both administrations. Now, have a look at this. She's going around and she's making it about the past, right? So the past as in what these others did to President Trump with their witch hunt and all that. So it's further exposure again. Let's continue on.
All of you who participated in those impeachment hearings against Donald Trump, you all should be apologizing. You sit here and you attack the president, and I am not going to have it. I'm not going to put up with it.
Do you see? So she's making it about President Trump now, but it's another future-proof past. Because in the past, Bill Barr failed, right? She might as well say Bill Barr failed, and he didn't do what I'm been trying to do here and expose about the fraud and everything else and the witch hunt and the impeachments and all that. So she's bringing that out from the past to now, bringing that narrative in. And that's what I'm saying. We got to look at it from this standpoint. Who is this character? Who, realistically speaking, she's either, like I said, she's either got a gun to her head or there's some other things that are going on. We know that political decoys do exist. That's all factual. That's all been proven. Okay? And what we need to do is look at the facts, use our logic and use our intuition. And we can see that this is like so far, I want to say left of center, but so ridiculous, so far gone, that you can see that this is like some political theater. Like we say, this is a movie. Pretty much it's a movie. It's exposure, 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 and she's doing it. You're seeing that character from Newsmax. He's doing, I think his name's Craig something. He's doing it. Macy's doing it. They're all playing a role in exposure. Even the Democrats are doing it as well. This is the genius. This is what you got to remember. This has all been done. Exposure. How do you expose it? It's got to be natural. It's got to be organic. It's got to make sense to the masses, and it's working. Have a look at the comments. It's working. You're seeing it, like, you know what Q says about it not being left and right? Well, you're seeing that the MAGA movement now is like, I didn't sign up for this. I didn't vote for this. We wanted justice. We wanted what you promised. And it's not about the left and right anymore. They're teamed up. So this is what I'm saying. You could see what Q has been telling us all along. It's actually happening right now. And look, I keep bringing up this drop because it's a very important drop. Because at the end of the day, it's about the children, right? And it all makes the perfect sense. When we go to Q drop 49008, so Q drop 4908, and it is relevant to what is happening now, is that this is part of the Great Awakening. The Great Awakening, it's awakening the masses. And it's also, remember, when we talk about the masses, we're talking about left and right, doesn't matter. Sometimes you can't tell the public the truth. You must show them. And they're being shown. Only then will the people find the will to change. Crimes against humanity and, children, they will cross party lines. You're watching them cross party lines. It's not about Republicans and Democrats anymore. Everyone is uniting together in this common cause. They're standing on top of their soapboxes. They're demanding justice. But there are entities, you must remember, that are there nefariously dirtying the waters, like Alex Jones, making it about the left and right. Ben Johnson, making it about the left and right. All these other podcasters, ones that are basically making it about left and right, stop watching them. Stop enabling them, because they are dirtying the waters deliberately, and they're not doing it for any good intention. What they're trying to do is continue on with the division and dirty the waters, and in the end, they're trying to destroy what President Trump's created. President Trump wants to be known as the unifier. He has clearly said it. He says, I belong to the party of common sense. Go back to Thomas Paine. Thomas Paine said about, the party about common sense. George Washington didn't belong to a party. Remember, when these entities belong to a party, you got a noose around your neck. You got a chain around your neck. You got to do what the party tells you to do, otherwise you're out. They're going to find one way or the other to get you out of there. That's what I'm saying. This is all part of the Great Awakening, and people are crossing party lines. There you go. You're watching it happen in real time. Now, this is where Pamela Bondi, there are people outside, and they're actually, you could see that they're angry. And it's not just the left, it's the right as well.
Bondi, you are a disgrace to the American people. You protect pedophiles who systematically rape children.
I was a little embarrassed to see that she couldn't say sorry to us, because she sat there in the beginning, she said sorry for what Jeffrey Epstein did to us, but yet she couldn't apologize what she did to us, what her department did to us, right? It's like you had one job, was to redact our names, to respect our privacy, but yet you carefully took the time to redact all these powerful rich men. So, it's like, is it your department that can't keep up with, are you guys being sloppy? What's going on here? It's what we wonder every day. Yeah. Where did it go wrong? And then I think we all realize now, oh, you guys really wanted to silence us. And you thought that you could scare us by putting our names out there. And to be honest with you, we've been through worse. This is nothing for us. If anything, this encourages us to speak more and not to be silenced. So we like to set the record here. If there are more files to be released, which we hope that these files that are released, they need to be, the men that are, the perpetrators that we did know about and that are out there now, they need to be investigated, and we cannot fail to do that as as the United States of America. We have other countries that are taking action in this, and we are doing absolutely nothing, and it is infuriating.
Was the president aware of Secretary Lutnick's ties to Epstein when he chose him to lead the Department of Commerce? Was he aware?
Chris Malin was a Border Patrol agent.
Okay, so I'm going to conclude that the president, in fact, did know about his ties because he was the next-door neighbor.
Shame on you.
Oh, for goodness sakes.
You're
this
from
is
a tiny,
pathetic.
beautiful
This is
state.
pathetic, Mr. Chair. I am not asking trick questions here. The American people have a right to know the answers to this. These are senior officials in the Trump administration. This is not a game, Secretary.
I'm Attorney General.
My apologies, I couldn't tell.
Florida ranks 3rd nationally in calls for help for human trafficking, where young women and children are enslaved and abused. I knew we needed all hands on deck. Businesses and hospitals to spot it, our great law enforcement to stop it, and tougher penalties to punish it. We're taking on Medicaid fraud, pill mills, gangs, and more, and I'll fight to put human trafficking monsters where they belong, behind bars.
Pam Bondi, our Attorney General.
Mr. Brennan lied to the committee, which you're not supposed to do. Last Congress, when we deposed him, he definitely, 18 U.S.C. 1001, we're all familiar with it. He lied to the committee, and the committee, the Congress, and I think the country would like to know if, in fact, he's going to be indicted for lying. And here's why it's so important. I'll give you a chance to respond. Here's why it's so important. It wasn't just that he lied to us, it's what he lied to us about.
There is no credible information. None. If there were, I would bring the case yesterday that he trafficked to other individuals. And the information we have, again, is limited.
So the answer is no one?
For the information that we have.
Did you, in fact, make the visit to Jeffrey Epstein's private island?
I did have lunch with him as I was on a boat going across on a family vacation.
Yes, I was on the sex island, but only for the snorkeling. I didn't know anything about the kid stuff.
My wife was with me, as were my 4 children and nannies. I had another couple.
No, look, 95% of what went on down there was not pedophilia.
Oh, yeah?
No, the other 5%, that sullied the whole operation.
We had lunch on the island. That is true, for an hour, and we left with all of my children.
It ain't just me. You guys' names are on those documents too, remember?
What? Still? God damn it! Son of a bitch!
We were on family vacation. I don't recall why we did it.
And none of them asked Merrick Garland over the last 4 years one word about Jeffrey Epstein. How ironic is that? You know why? Because Donald Trump, the Dow right now is over. The Dow is over $50,000. I don't know why you're laughing. You're a great stock trader, as I hear, Raskin. The Dow is over 50,000 right now. The S&P at almost 7,000. And the NASDAQ smashing records. Americans' 401ks and retirement savings are booming. That's what we should be talking about. We should be talking about making Americans safe. We should be talking about, what does a Dow have to do with anything? That's what they just asked. Are you kidding?
Mr. Jordan, Mr. Jordan.
Committee will be.
We're not going to re-victimize women. We're not going to put that shit back out there. It's not happening, because then he wins. Not doing it.
To my right is an email that was sent by the victims' lawyers to the DOJ. It was a list of names not to release. What did the DOJ do with this email? They released this email in the document production. Literally the worst thing you could do to the survivors, you did. And they're getting phone calls. A lot of these people didn't want to be known. And we know you touched the document because you redacted one name.
and you redacted the lawyer's name, but you left the survivor's name there.
That was gold. That was gold. Do you see the hypocrisy? It's so ridiculous, isn't it? The amount of hypocrisy is phenomenal. And then when you see Jim Jordan putting out this statement, President Trump and Attorney General Bondi promised to make America safe again, and they just did that. No, because no one's in jail at this point. And that's what I'm saying. Like, you got to look at it from the standpoint that this has all been done for a reason, to awaken the masses and to stir the hornet's nest, which is actually happening right now. You can see it, right? So this is another future proves past. That whole thing was like watching a deranged version of the Twilight Zone. I can't put it any more clearer than that. But like I said, look at that. President Trump and Attorney General Bondi promised to make America safe again. No, wasn't it supposed to be Bill Barr, and he didn't do his job, as Craig said, I think from Newsmax, and Bondi didn't do the same thing either? Yeah, it's pretty much a failure. That's what I would say. And the failure is on display. Now, President Trump just recently had a little presser to do with, obviously, the environment. And, you know, when you listen to the press, and it's like, are you doing this deliberately? Because what they did was they asked the question about Lutnick. And President Trump, it's like he almost threw him under the bus. You got to listen to what he has to say, because it's almost like that, right? And if you can pick it up, you could see it, you know. Let me just see. Let's get this all sorted. All right. Okay, here we go. So this is President Trump. President Trump said he didn't know that Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, sorry, it's funny because you can't not laugh, especially when you got these entities in your cabinet. You would know what color, basically, underwear they wear. No, the Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick visited Jeffrey Epstein Island. Now, how would he not know, especially when, wasn't it not long ago that Mr. Lutnick was in front of Congress and he said it as well? So you think, this is what I'm saying, do you see the gaslighting? It's all deliberately done. And he's saying that he didn't know that he visited Jeffrey Epstein's pedophile island before the mass release of the case files by the Justice Department. Okay, so he said that before the mass release. So let's watch this video anyway. It looks like he almost threw him under the bus. Here we go. Okay. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
Mr. President, were you aware that Secretary of Commerce visited Epstein's island, and do you continue to have...
No, I wasn't aware of it. No, I didn't. I actually haven't spoken to him about it. I wasn't. But from what I hear, he was there with his wife and children. And I guess in some cases, some people were. I wasn't. I was never there. Somebody will someday say that. I was never there.
Yes, he was never there. And he's wearing the purple tie, which is red and blue mixed, which is, it's not about Republicans or Democrats. He belongs to the party of common sense. That's what that purple tie means. But you're seeing that he's saying it. And it's like, I didn't know. I didn't know. Is deny playing the neutral card. And it's all been done by design. Now, let's see what else is going on. Lying Lutnick, okay, he's obviously been mentioned many times, or he's involved with Epstein, business deals, going on the island, and, you know, he gaslit people in the beginning. I didn't have anything to do with him after 2005, and then you find out that, I mean, realistically speaking, Mr. Lutnick should be out just on perjury. A lot of them actually should be out on perjury, to be quite honest. Then you got Prince William. Prince William apparently caught up with that sheik, the sheik that went out there and gave Epstein the torture videos. What's the deal with that business? Prince William's Earthshot Charities reported to the Charities Commission over Epstein donor questions. Very interesting. Very interesting. And look, Andrew Mountbatten, don't you worry, he's been hammered out there. In fact, the police should be getting involved very soon, and we should be seeing him either making his way to the United States and answering questions in front of Congress, or in jail, one or the other. Because then guess what? We talk about Prince Andrew, but what about Charles and Jimmy Savile? There's that as well. One will lead to another. One will lead to another. And what we're seeing at this point is there is no accountability. People are calling it out. So Prince William was just recently seen with, I think, MBS in Saudi Arabia, and people are calling it out. They're just saying things like, what's happening with Andrew? Have a look at this.
Sir, to what extent do you think the royal family has done enough around the Andrew and Epstein issue? Sir, to what extent do you think the royal family has done enough around the Andrew and Epstein issue?
Do you see what I mean? So they're walking, what does Q says? They won't be able to walk down the street. Well, Q was right. Again, everything that Q has said has been spot on. They won't be able to walk down the street, and they won't be. Now, there are things that are coming out also that Andrew Mountbatten told Jeffrey Epstein that the former prince had the Queen's full support. So the Queen's been implicated in this as well. Let's have a look at this. A close aide to Andrew Mountbatten, Windsor, told Jeffrey Epstein the former prince had the Queen's full support, but suggested she felt his continued relationship with the convicted pedophile was unwise, really now. Yeah, unwise. What about your son, King Charles? What about him and Jimmy Savile? The one that you, Queenie, knighted, and you knew that he was a pedophile and he had 500 children. Because Jimmy Savile died before the Queen died. So she would have known because it was in all over the place. So, you know, that's what I'm saying. Like, she knows, she knew, they all knew. Don't you worry about that one. They all knew. Then you got Queen Camilla. Oh, yes. Ignores questions from reporters asking if she has a message for Jeffrey Epstein's victims. So you can see, as Q says, they're not able to walk down the street anymore. Then a threesome sex act and $250,000 of hush money to an exotic dancer's sordid claims against Epstein and ex-Prince Andrew. So that's all coming out. More and more is coming out. The stories just keep going on and on and on, but we are fed up of the stories. What we want to see is those redactions removed, get some context, get some justice. Because at the moment, we've had zero justice at this point. King Charles is still walking around the place. They all seem to be walking around the place without any issue at all. There needs to be accountability. There needs to be some justice. Otherwise, it doesn't mean a damn thing. Have a look at this. George Bush seen walking around the place. I met former United States President today, United States President today. There we go, George W. Bush. He was very nice to everyone. We've seen Biden walking around. We've seen him walking around. Look at that. He's at some sort of, what is it? I don't know, football match or whatever it is. It says there, former US President George W. Bush in attendance at Moody Coliseum tonight for the Notre Dame versus SMU, whatever that means. But he's walking around the place. So you got Biden walking around, you got Bush walking around, and then you got Hunter Biden talking about pedophilia, and it's just getting to the point of being ridiculous. And this is what I'm saying. No one envisioned this kind of gaslighting to take place. What about the laptop from hell? What happened to that business? No. Apparently that got swept under the carpet. But Hunter's going around there. I'm trying to find the video, but actually Hunter's going around there and he's saying things about, Epstein or pedophiles and stuff. It's like, this is getting ridiculous by the minute, to be quite honest. It's just give me a sec. I'll see if we can find it. But in the meantime, guys, don't forget, thumbs up, great comments. Let's share this all around the place. Let's get the message out there. Because, unfortunately, I'm being blocked by, you know what happened with X, right? So X now have turned around and said that they're going to restrict me even more. Why? Well, I'll tell you why. Because I put out a message and said, because I've got to try and reset the algorithm by not posting, because that's what Grok told me to do. Grok actually told me not to post for 3 days, and that will reset the algorithm. And I said to people, hey, I'm not going to post on X for 3 days because Grok told me so, not to do it, so they can reset the algorithm. And then they said, I get a message from X. Get this, ladies and gentlemen, get this ridiculousness. That I get a message from X saying that because I said something like that I'm trying to manipulate, the algorithm or something. It's ridiculous. So I've said, you know what, bugger it. At one point, I'm going to call X and I'm going to actually have a word with them. Because you know what? At the end of the day, I am a journalist and I deserve to be heard. And I am, the facts, evidence, and receipts, whatever I produce is all proven facts. I'm not spreading conspiracy theories. I'm spreading what is the truth, trying to get the truth out there. And yet they keep coming back with these ridiculous excuses. No. I honestly, it's getting to the point of being ridiculous that someone like me that is trying to get the real message out there to try and empower people with the truth is constantly getting blocked by these social media freaks. Just because they own it, like BlackRock. We know BlackRock, Vanguard, always up the top, right? Always up the top. And we know that they use bots to manipulate. That's all been proven without a shadow of a doubt. Bot farms exist. I've seen some ridiculousness. It's so far-fetched. When you go on Rumble, for example, and you see this person looks like a hand puppet, it's got like a hand puppet, and he's talking shit for hours as a hand puppet. He's got hardly any followers, yet he's supposedly got hundreds of thousands of views. How does that work? It's just so ridiculous. Then you see in the chat only 2 people talking, and he's supposed to have hundreds of thousands of views on this one video that's only got 2 or 3 people talking in the chat, and way less followers than I've got. And he supposedly have hundreds of thousands of viewers on this video, on these videos. It's getting to the point of ridiculousness because bots can be bought. They are manipulating the truth and they're constantly doing it. Enough is enough. These entities need to be exposed, and because I'm exposing them, what they're trying to do is try to close the gate. Put a brick wall constantly. So the truth, they're not afraid, like I said, of the ones that spread all the lies and the disinformation, misinformation. No, they're not afraid of them because they can be easily discredited. In fact, they encourage them to do it by monetizing these entities, these podcasters. They put them up on their boards to give them some sort of validity. They give them money and they're paid very handsomely, may I add, so they can continue on doing what they're doing. And then what they do is they push their wares. Rather than sit there and bring the real truth, they push their wares, they talk about their sponsors, and they talk crap. That's the problem. This is the situation that we're in. This is the situation that I'm facing. And this is the thing. This has to change. The only way this has got to change is to hit the reset button. Something has to give, and it has to give very soon. That's why I say Q drop 1044. 1044 is necessary, where they hit the kill switch on all of them and they bring it all down and they have one true message. It's the only way. Because you know what, ladies and gentlemen, at the moment we're running a circus that's out there. It's a ridiculous circus of a bunch of freaks going out there saying lies, deceptions, selling their wares, manipulation, psychological manipulation, dirtying the waters deliberately, and they've been paid handsomely through monetization, through the owners, which we know BlackRock are right up the top, of all these social media platforms. So how are we supposed to get the message out there? Well, you know how the algorithm works. Number one, they're not allowing this message to get out there to the non-followers, meaning the larger audience. Yes, people that follow me can watch what I'm saying, but they've restricted me from growing as someone that brings out the truth, as a journalist, as a truth journalist. Okay? They find me to be a threat. That's why they do what they do. And that's why I'm saying the only way forward is they got to hit the reset button, because at the moment, people are losing their minds because of these entities out there that continue to lie, to deceive, to create division, to spread fear porn. That's what they're all good at doing. They're not good at doing anything else. Oh, yeah, by the way, enriching themselves. That's the ridiculousness that we're in right now. Something has to change. Something has to give. Now, I'm trying to find that video, guys, which, there's so many different categories here. It's unbelievable. But let me show you something that's happening in Iran. By no coincidence, but by design. You see what Epstein Island's all about. Then you got Zorro Ranch, and you got all the others that have been going around. Look at Bohemian Grove. With Moloch, Baal, and all that sort of business. Well, have a look what's going on in Iran. In Iran, ladies and gentlemen, they created an effigy of Baal and they burned it to the ground with the Star of David, the Israeli star business. And they're chanting anti-Israeli chants. Question is, who's doing it? That's my question. Let's look at what happened with the Iranian protests. Let's be logical. You had Pompeo. Trust Pompeo's Q says. Trust him. He exposed that the Mossad have been the invisible hand that has been behind aggravating the situation and shooting and doing all those nefarious things, trying to inflate the numbers of what was going on with Iran to force President Trump's hand to go in there, and they were trying to get President Trump to go into Iran and bomb it for their own benefit, for Israel's own benefit. Now, what do you think Netanyahu came just recently? He came there demanding that President Trump go in there and attack Iran, and to disarm Iran of their ballistic missiles. So they have no defense whatsoever. Demand. That's the thing. So you got to ask yourself this question. We had this happen, and we know the Mossad are behind a lot of, they've admitted it, they're the actors, they're the producers, they're the directors. So they did it. Remember what happened in Iran. Are they going for a take two? Because during that time when this happened with this effigy of Baal, which I'll show you that they were burning down, chanting death to Israel, there was other peaceful rallies going on around it. And you know, when there's a peaceful rally, like what happened here in Sydney just recently when President of Israel came, you see there are people that are peacefully protesting, but then you got the agitators. Those agitators are the Mossad. They're the ones that are invisible hand. Just like this. Look at this. Iran's torch, biggest yet child sacrifice God Baal with Stars of David, anti-Israel chants, Epstein rage snaps. Now, think about this. Who is responsible? Could it be, well, we know. We've been talking about Baal. We've been talking about Moloch. We've been called conspiracy theorists. We've been called all sorts of names about how we were talking about the child sacrificing, about the tunnels, and it's all come to the forefront now. So it's all out there. It's no longer hidden. You think this is a coincidence and this has been done by design? The question is, who is the ones? And remember, there is also entities that are there to expose, and there's also entities there to aggravate the situation as well. So this is a constant moves brings on counter move situation. So Iran torch biggest yet child sacrifice God Baal and Stars of David and anti-Israel chants as Epstein rage snaps. Let's have a look at this video right here. So you could see they've also got a obelisk. Have a look at the obelisk at the top. It's got that star that's on the flag, the Zionist star. The 666 star, right? 6 points, 6 triangles and 6 sides. 666. Okay? And you got that business. One eye, all-seeing eye, and it looks like there's some other thing, looks like half a Freemason's compass. Can you see it there, ladies and gentlemen? So you got the Zionist star, the 666. Then you got the all-seeing eye, and that eye, it happens to be the eye of Ra. It's on the right. And then this here looks like the Freemason's compass. They're burning it down. Who is the one that's doing it? Like I said, moves bring on counter moves. There is definitely whiteouts. Definitely they're exposing this for a reason. But remember, there's also those that are chanting anti-Israeli, death to Israel, that sort of thing. There are agitators there as well. So you got this going on. This constant fight of good versus evil. Exposure. Darkness. So this has all been exposed and it's been shown. You think it's all been done by coincidence? No, it's been done by design. Another thing which I found very odd was, did you see about the shooting about the MAGA dad? The MAGA dad, apparently his daughter, 23 years old, went to visit her father in Texas, and there was an argument, and he had a Glock 9mm, and he pointed it at her chest, and it went off. Really now, when you go and get your gun, or when you get a gun license, don't you do some form of training? You do, don't you? You know what you're doing. You know that you keep the ammo separate to the gun in different safes. Is that how it works? But then also, are you going to walk around with a loaded pistol and point it at your daughter's chest because you had an argument about Trump? Are you kidding me right now? Did you guys see this thing? It's ridiculous. Have a look at this. British graduate 23 was shot dead by a reckless father while visiting Texas home when he pointed pistol at chest as a tease. And apparently it was all to do with this. He was they call him MAGA dad. That warrants a little bit more investigation. And I'm going to look into that a little bit more. And there's other weird stuff going on as far as in Canada with this trans. Again, we know what the trans business means. We know this is all MK Ultra. We know how they use the weak-minded, how pharmacia is involved, how psychologists are working with the CIA and all that sort of thing, how they profile people. We know how they trigger them. We've been through that. I've explained that many times on previous shows. Please watch my shows, ladies and gentlemen. There are people that say, oh, I'm a big follower of yours, FCB. Well, if you're a big follower of mine, then why don't you watch my shows? I don't get it. People claim to be followers of me and this, that, the other, yet they don't watch my shows. If you watch my shows, ladies and gentlemen, you will know what's going on. Don't expect to catch up on everything that I say in one show. That's why I have hundreds, if thousands, of podcasts that I've done in the past. You got to watch. You got to invest the time. People say, I don't have the time. What does the truth mean to you? If I had that mentality, I wouldn't be here right now, would I? That's what people need to do, is invest the time in the truth. Don't expect me to give you the lowdown in a stupid TikTok video that only goes for the 6-second memory people. They have a retention of a bloody goldfish because you've been trained that way. Get rid of TikTok. TikTok has to go anyway. We know that President Trump, what he did in the past, he said it was a national security threat, and he was right. It is a national security threat. You're seeing what's happening right now. They're using TikTok, and we know who's using it, the state of Israel, Bibi Netanyahu, using his stooges, right? We know who they are. I've been through that many times. Now, the algorithm is a weapon. TikTok is a weapon. And it conditions people to have a retention span of a goldfish memory. You know when you charge your phone and it says you've got to charge it from empty to full, right? You got to charge it from empty to full. Well, that's because the battery has a memory. The battery has a memory, and you're training your battery, your memory, to last a lot longer. The same way your brain works. You condition it, so you only say, oh, no, I'm going to charge it from 95% to 100%. That's all that's going to retain is 5%. That's your memory. That's exactly how they operate. Now, people are deleting TikTok, and I'll tell you why. Let's look at this, Time Magazine. The people are deleting TikTok after a privacy policy update on January the 26th that raised new concerns about how much data the application can collect. We know that the state of Israel, they control TikTok. Even though they say, oh, this is American. No, have a look at the characters. Larry Ellison. I've explained it. The CEO of TikTok is a Zionist as well. Their allegiance lies to Israel. Israel are big in intelligence. Now, Mossad's one aspect of it. You've got Unit 8200 and other units that specialize in that. Now, you think about this. That little blue and white sponge, how much crap it's collecting from everyone. That's the problem right there. New concerns about how much data the application can collect and who gets access to it. And we know who are the ones getting access to it. So what actually has changed? Why are people deleting the application now? And how much of this is new versus just newly noticed? Here's what you need to know about the TikTok terms update in 60 seconds. That's because it's TikTok, 60 seconds, your brain lasts for it's not your brain, but others, their retention span, 60 seconds if you're lucky. I say 6 seconds of a goldfish, okay, because a lot of these entities out there have done it by design. They do it deliberately so they can get people to absorb a narrative. Then 6 TikTok later videos, they change the narrative again. They're able to manipulate people at a whim. Let's watch.
People are deleting the TikTok app over its new privacy policies. Here's what you need to know about the TikTok boycott in 60 seconds. Many Americans woke up last Thursday to a new TikTok terms update that took effect immediately after the app spun off to a US entity. With no options to opt out, it is prompting many users to delete the app altogether. This update is raising alarms because of the fine print that allows the app to share even more data. In a new version of the privacy policy, TikTok says it is going to collect approximate and precise locations if you enable location services on the app, reversing a previous policy that explicitly banned the app from collecting any location info from US users. It also allows the app to collect information regarding your citizenship status, your sexual orientation, or if you're transgender. What is ironic is that the reason that the US lawmakers demanded TikTok to be owned by a US entity was out of fear that the Chinese government could compel TikTok to share data for surveillance purposes. With Trump's recent rhetoric on immigration crackdown, people are increasingly suspicious of a surveillance state in the US starting on TikTok.
There you go. Surveillance.
People are deleting the TikTok app.
So surveillance. When you think about surveillance, think about Israel. That's what you got to think about. That's the case. They have got surveillance. They're surveillancing the world. Don't you worry about that one. The problem is that social media, the way it runs, it needs to change. We are living in a world of uncertainty, AI, manipulation. We can't even trust our eyes anymore, but we can't even trust what is being put out there. Did you know, ladies and gentlemen, that they are using social media and AI and platforms such as also like Roblox? Have a look at this. This is very sad. Dad claims a 16-year-old daughter took her own life after meeting a predator on Roblox. That's an online game system platform. There's a lot of cyberbullying, a lot of manipulation. Now, you would have heard about this entity known as 764. Well, you add those numbers up, you know what you get. 17 equals Q, which is quite interesting. Because number one, 7 plus 6 plus 4 equals 17. So could it be exposure? Pretty much. Let's have a look at this. Dad claims 16-year-old daughter took her own life after meeting a predator on Roblox Slams game platform below. But then have a look at this. Her father, Jason, believes she committed suicide, was a culmination of grooming processes. Now think about what's going on. Epstein again. Grooming, child grooming, pedophilia. That began on Roblox, right? The game platform beloved by kids with what? 170,000 users under 13, 170,000. So it's talking about 764 and 170,000 again. So it's, to me, what this is all about is exposure again. And we know that obviously the exposure is happening by design. So it talks about this girl, age 16, that was being groomed on Roblox. Let's just continue on because it does mention, there we go, 170,000 of them. Okay, so we've got the 17s there again. But it talks, there we go, 764, Members of 764 reportedly they troll platforms like Roblox, and what they're looking is extorting victims and via grooming and sextortion. Exposure. Number 1, 7 plus 6 plus 4, 17. Apparently there is images of her that she carved on her chest, on her body, 764. It's very horrific, I get it. But is it exposure done by design? The comms is what we look at. So we got 7 plus 6 plus 4, 17. 170,000, 17 again. 17 plus 17, 34Q plus, right? Exposure. That's what I keep getting. Remember, things need to come to light. And what do we say? The only way that humanity is going to unite is through the children. And you're seeing it happen right in front of your very eyes. There's so many entities that have been exposed through Epstein, it's not funny. Number 1, you remember Stephen Hawking. So Stephen Hawking was that brilliant scientist, the one in the wheelchair. You know who I'm talking about. He was mentioned in the emails. We know we've seen photos of him with girls, right? You've seen that. Let me just see if I've got a photo with Hawkins. Okay, no, I don't. But you've seen him anyway. You know what I'm talking about. So you got Hawkins, Stephen Hawkins, and it says here on the email, I kid you not, the local papers are suggesting that Stephen Hawking had sex with underage girls. So this is from Epstein to Andrew Farkas, right? And he's saying that the local papers are suggesting that Stephen Hawking had sex with underage girls. Now, obviously, you've heard all these stories about it. And he says if that would be true, you'd receive the Nobel Peace Prize or the Nobel Prize for medical science. So what I'm saying is that, do you see how, yes, he was there. There is photos. We get it. But listen, Epstein would have incriminated him. Do you know what I mean? That would have been on the email. But they made fun of it. They absolutely made fun of it. Here we go. There's the photo right here. Does that conclude that he was a pedophile? Does it conclude that he was having sex with children? No. We don't have enough context. That's my point. My point is this. We don't have enough information. We don't have enough incriminating information, evidence, to be able to, but you know what happens? People go out there and they spread lies. They create AI photos and all that sort of business. And all that is doing is further adding issues to to what we're trying to do, which is to bring out the truth. They're about dirtying the waters and we're about the facts. Yeah. Deepak Chopra. Oh, he's been exposed. The guru, he's saying that he's been sadly, that he's sad and about the suffering victims and all that sort of crap, but then he uses his guru crap as well. No, we're not going to buy that rubbish, especially when he says God is a construct and cute girls are real. Yeah, okay. But we need, as I said, more context. And he talks about younger, intellectual, sharp and aware women and inspire and stimulate. Now, it could easily get away with that, so stimulating their mind. Intellectually, meaning mentally. Now, at the end of the day, we need more proof. But how are we going to get the proof if we're constantly met with redactions? And I think it's about time that the Band-Aid be ripped off, because we are getting to that point, because people are being made aware. They're increasing people's awareness organically, done by design, because as I said, you think about it, Epstein bringing all that stuff about the child trafficking. Now they're open up to the cannibalism as well. They're open up to the tunnels. They're open up to everything because it's all being exposed. And now it's time for them to go to that next level, ladies and gentlemen. That's what it's all about. We need to get to that next step. Now, remember Epstein, and I spoke about it, how he's involved with eugenics. He was obsessed with eugenics. You saw it in that email that I showed in the previous show. Please watch the previous show. A lot of great content. Now, convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein had a secret eugenics obsession, genetically engineering children, and that's from the Telegraph, using his own sperm. You know that he's got a lab there in the tunnels. That is all being shown in the emails. Epstein, sinister plot to seed human race with his DNA. It's all coming out. You could see it. Everything that we were called conspiracy theories no more. So we are reaching a level of awareness. They've been doing it in stages. It's taken this long, but it's been necessary, and the way they've been doing it is genius. By obstructing justice is another future proves past, showing the corruption of the DOJ. But also, it's aggravating people. It's making people angry. They are standing on top of their soapboxes, demanding justice, demanding transparency, demanding accountability. And I'm talking about the masses. And it's not about the left and right, because they're all dropped that now. It's all about the truth. It's all about unification. That's what it's about. And when Q says they're not able to walk down the street, well, you see what's going on. So, in other words, the people have been brought to a level of awareness where they are ready to receive more and more information to awaken them. That's why we call this the Great Awakening. We are living it. We are living this Great Awakening right now as we speak. The other thing is, we know there are, don't you worry, India. Modi's involved. The Prime Minister of India. In fact, the protests in New Delhi, so the Indian people are angry and they are upset that their leader has been involved with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. As the emails have shown, and basically that he's got involvement when visiting him. Well, it says here, let me read you this article. DW News, protesters in New Delhi took to the streets after Modi's name appeared in documents linked to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. An email shows a disgraced financial claimed credit for the Indian Prime Minister's 2017 Israeli visit. Let's have a look at this video. So you see what's going on. Now you think about it, these people in India, they're riled up. So it's working. Can you see? It's all working worldwide. What's happening, these Epstein files is being spread worldwide. It's genius. It is absolutely genius. And when Q says they won't be able to walk down the street, good luck, Mr. Modi, in walking down the street. They're all not going to be able to walk down the street. In fact, you're seeing Elon, oh yes, Elon, making dumb excuse after dumb excuse after dumb excuse. It's ridiculous. Even his brother was involved with Epstein. I rejected him. No, really. Don't lie, Elon. No amount of money is going to buy you out of this one. I could tell you that much. And there are developments that Elon's father's accused of sexually abusing his children, stepchildren. Let's have a look at this one. Given the development of the past few days, perhaps it's worth re-upping this Guardian article from last fall. Elon Musk's father accused of sexually abusing his children and stepchildren. That's very interesting, isn't it? So this article is a 4-month-old article, yet it is relevant. Elon Musk's father accused of sexually abusing his children and stepchildren. Elon Musk, rarely mentioned by his tech billionaire son, dismisses New York Times report as nonsense and false. Really? Really now, this is very interesting, isn't it? Elon Musk's brother no longer on Burning Man board. Yeah, because he's burning up because he's involved in this filth. Kimball, I think his name is, yes. Then you got Elon being implicated here. So he says here, I'm here but tied up during the day. Do you want my 407 to fly to Hawthorne Airport? So this is to Jeffrey Epstein from Bobby Kotick. And he says, the girls and I are going to see Elon at SpaceX tomorrow. And that's from Jeffrey. The girls and him are going to see Elon. Oh, we rejected him. You really, Elon. The emails keep going on and on and on and on and on about Elon. And Elon's going out there doing podcasts, acting all like trying to sweep it under the carpet. No. How about it's time that we expose little Elon's little business, okay? Because I know a lot of people out there being, oh, Elon this and Elon that. No, Elon nothing. Okay? Oh, apparently he claimed that he got photobombed by her. Yeah. He happened to be, pulled a gunpoint to be next to her. Are you kidding me right now? Does everyone remember when Elon Musk was saying it's time to drop a big bomb? A really big bomb. Who was he dropping a bomb on? Who was he trying to discredit? President Trump. Are you telling me that man right there had, shall we say, the best intentions of President Trump? Is, President this and President that and lick, going to Mar-a-Lago, blah, 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 with his mummy. You know what I mean? No. Time to drop a real big bomb. No, the bomb dropped on you. Right? A real Donald Trump is an Epstein file. Now, let me tell you something. Let me break it right down. Number one, you support this man. You don't support President Trump. Period. That's a fact right there. You support this man. You don't support what President Trump stands for. You might as well go in and be and on the Elon Musk gravy train. Time to drop the real big bomb. Real Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. There we go. He wanted to screw President Trump. He wanted to discredit President Trump. Who do you think Elon Musk's allegiance lied to? He claims to be a Zionist. He's connected with good old Netanyahu. Loves the state of Israel. What do you think they're about? They're about screwing Trump over. I've proven this, and I've shown you that even the Jerusalem Post and all these others have been going out against Trump and trying to sow the seeds of discord. He's trying to do it there. That is the real reason why they haven't been made public. He was doing this deliberately to screw over President Trump. Have a nice day, DJT. It's like basically sticking his middle finger up at Donald Trump. Mark this post for the future. The truth will come out. I know it's coming out, Elon. Don't you worry about that one. Then we got this. Wow, amazing that Epstein killed himself and Ghislaine is in federal prison for a hoax, trying to dirty the waters and discredit President Trump. We know what Elon's all about. We know he ain't good, right? In fact, yes, ladies and gentlemen, this happened, which was, I loved it because you know what? Elon got what he deserved. Okay. Elon's all about technology, and you know what? Technology can backfire on him as well. In the sense of, those little trucks that go around the place. You know what I'm talking about? The trucks that go around, and these trucks, they've got the big digital signs on there. And what this digital sign said was very uncomfortable for Mr. Elon, because what was said on there was all these little emails that Elon was implicated on by Epstein. Let's have a look. There we go. Elon Musk, he got what he deserved. I know this is just the beginning. And then what Elon did was to try and screw over Trump again. Now, you know what President Trump's all about is loyalty, and so am I about loyalty. And the moment that you don't have loyalty, I don't want to know you, and neither does President Trump. Have a look at this. Elon, how to make a totally invisible plane. So in other words, you put and you code it with the Epstein client list. Really? So he's been going out there deliberately trying to screw over President Trump, and done by design. And there's also something you need to know about Elon Musk, that I think his former wife, she called him a demon or demon mode. Have a listen to this.
Many personalities, and sometimes you're around a really, half-joking guy, or a guy playing, engineering mode in which he's really good. But there's times he goes into what Claire Boucher, his occasional girlfriend known as Grimes, calls demon mode. And that's when he gets dark. At the tip of South Texas is Boca Chica, where he has a launch pad for Starship. And one Friday night at around 10 p.m., he's sort of joking about everything. And then he sees that only 2 people are working at the pad. It's 10 p.m. on a Friday night, but you can see the dark, and he just explodes. And for about an hour, he's berating people, and then he orders up what he calls a surge. He wants 200 people there by the next day, so they start working. So this penchant for drama comes out of the childhood too.
There you go, demon mode. There's your demon mode, ladies and gentlemen, right there. That man was spot on what he said about Elon. Demon mode. Oh no, he's wearing a demon. Don't you worry, there's the Baphomet and the upside down cross. He's absolutely correct. Elon is in demon mode, and you know he's a demon himself, right? Especially when he supports Mr. Netanyahu. Netanyahu is not about making America great again. No, no, no. He was there to make Israel great again. America is the golden calf, and we will suck it up dry, chop it up, and sell it off in pieces by pieces until there is nothing left but the world's biggest welfare state that we will create and control. This is what we do to countries we hate. Benjamin Netanyahu in 1990 at Fink's Bar. And then people pay for him to escort him from the airport, taxpayers' dollars, to the White House. We think it's cheap with all that huge motorcade protection. And then you got this man here that basically loves Netanyahu. And like I said, he ain't good. Elon Musk from Elon Musk. So Jeffrey Epstein said, will you be coming this Christmas? Woody Allen with me, you might enjoy. Yes. It doesn't sound like somebody that would reject Epstein, does it? No, it doesn't. Probably just Talia and me, his former wife. What day or night will be the wildest party on your island? Wildest party. It goes on and on and on. Thanks. So this is from Elon, and he says, I will send heli for you. So this is Epstein, helicopter, to pick you up. Right? That's what it means. A helicopter, heli. Right? We'll be in the BVI, St. Bart's area, over British Virgin Islands, BVI, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? Is there a good time to visit? Are you going to go and see your friend at Necker Island too, Elon? Known as Sir Richard Branson? And this one here from Leslie Groff, she was mentioned, to Jeffrey Epstein. Just a reminder, Elon Musk was asking about coming to your island. Very interesting, isn't it? Actually, I could fly back earlier. So this is from Elon to Jeffrey on the 3rd, and we'll be in St. Bart's. When should we head to your island? On the 2nd. I need to fly back to LA on the night of the 2nd. Look, you could see. Then you got Mr. Lutnick going there with his family or families on a Sunday lunch to go past Epstein Island. Are you kidding me? Did they think that we're that stupid? Well, apparently there are people that believe the garbage. Oh, this is the Google Calendar, the notification of, when you put something in the calendar. There we go, right there. From Google Calendar, subject, notification, Elon Musk to Ireland, Saturday the 6th, 2014. That's been redacted. There we go. Oh, so is this far-fetched? These people praising Elon, you might as well go to Elon and forget about President Trump, because he was about screwing over President Trump. And it actually backfired on him, Zuckerberg, even Hoffman, TL, the whole lot of them. It backfired. Lutnick and all the rest. It all backfired. Oh, yes. And it backfired on Dr. Oz. Oh, Dr. Oz has been implicated. Don't you worry about that one. And we know why Dr. Oz has been implicated. Because he's also connected to Marina Abramovich as well. I've shown you that. Now, understood, I said, I see you on Bath. The ratio on my island might make Talia. What kind of ratio are we talking about? Do you have any parties planned? What with Santa Claus and Christmas trees and all that? Is that the sort of party they're planning? No. You are welcome to stay or just come for the day. So Jeffrey's saying you're welcome to stay or come for the day. There's plenty of room. I will send helicopter to get you. Not very good for Elon, is it? Elon's going out there making many excuses and he's looking like an idiot. And guess what? It's not about left and right, because remember the left used to go, oh, we love the Teslas. We love the Teslas. Now they're giving them the finger. They've been burning the Teslas. The right now, they wish they never bought their Cybertrucks. They can't get rid of them fast enough. Even in the Ukraine, they're trying to piss it all off. People that have bought Teslas, they're trying to get rid of them. They can't get rid of them. Pretty much you're going to be selling them for parts, and there'll be nothing left of them to begin with. Won't be nothing left with them at all. So look at that. You've got that business going on. So he's tried to implicate Trump over and over and over again, and he's failed, and he's failed, and he's failed. There we go. Look at this. To Elon Musk. Hello, Mary Beth. I have now sent you a copy of all 3 girls' passport. Sorry, it's upside down, but I figure you will print. Jeffrey will have his ID with him. Leslie, assistant to Jeffrey Epstein. Then you got his brother, Kimball. No, it wasn't enough that Elon was involved in the filth. We got Kimball involved. There we go, Kimball, Jeffrey Epstein. Great to hang out today. This is from Kimball Musk, Elon Musk's brother. Okay? Per our conversation, great to hang out today, Jeffrey and Boris. Many thanks for connecting me with Jennifer. Who's Jennifer? Is it some underage girl? Do you see what I mean? There's no context. I believe you both played a role. Kimball. Kimball's now involved in this filth. Elon's brother. Then you got from May Musk, his mother's been implicated as well. Good old mummy's involved as well. The whole family seems to be involved. From May Musk. Subject medication use high among overweight, obese kids. You know what's funny? When President Trump was saying, well, that's from May Musk, his mummy. But President Trump, this goes back to what I said. When President Trump exposes his billionaire friend of having weight issues, and he's talking about Elon, because the way President Trump is saying is president, he calls me president. That is Elon. Medication used among overweight obese kids. Well, that's Elon again. Okay. Lovely, isn't it? Medication used for high among overweight obese kids. Now, this is from Kimball Musk to Boris and Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey, message received wide and clear. What message? What message do you mean? Seriously, I'm very happy with my time so far with Jennifer. Obese kids, overweight, talking about a girl called Jennifer. She's great. Was, dare I say, was Kimball into some sort of girls with fetishes? I mean, you know, fat fetish or underage girls. Who knows? Anything is possible with this. And that's what I'm saying. There's not enough context here to be able to get these people and put them in some sort of slammer right now and perp welcome right in front of everybody. I'll be back in New York City for Halloween weekend. It scares me to imagine what you'll be for Halloween, Boris, but I want to see it. Let me know if you'll be there. Yeah, we know Halloween's a satanic holiday anyway. How fitting. Especially, did Elon rock up with his demon gear? There we go. I said that I had given Kimball to another friend. Look at this. To Sunita from Jeffrey Epstein. So he's sending a message to a lady named Sunita. And I will try to find dark eyes for you. Do I get a friend in return? I hope you're making progress towards your goal. What the hell is going on here? Obviously, it's not good. And it's not looking good for Elon. It's not looking good for May. It's not looking good for Kimball. It's not looking good for any of these Musk clowns. You know what I mean? And it's certainly not looking good for those that have got investments in Tesla, SpaceX, anything to do with Elon. It's going straight down the shitter, including your cars. So if you bought a Cybertruck, I would be looking at getting rid of it right about now. You should have done it in the past anyway, and you shouldn't have bought the garbage. Okay? No. Cybertrucks, Teslas, time for them to go. Because you know what? We know what Q was talking about the Teslas, what they were created for. That was their batteries were designed, and they were using it to blow up whistleblowers, as Q said. Oh, don't you worry. Tesla brand is hurting already. Look at that, Bloomberg. The Tesla brand is already hurting. Elon is doing more damage. Oh, he certainly is. He's doing damage way beyond, and that's all because of him going out there and trying to call Trump's bluff. This is what happens. You played the game, Elon, and you got screwed. You got screwed because you tried to screw Trump, right? You tried to screw Trump over by making him out, that he's been hiding the files. And no, he's the one, Elon, and those that follow Elon. President Trump was the one to bring justice to Epstein and to Ghislaine and to bring all the filth out about Epstein on. It wasn't Obama, it wasn't Bush, and it wasn't Clinton. And it certainly wasn't you, Elon. But then you thought you had the President Trump over the barrel, the proverbial barrel. But realistically speaking, President Trump had you over the barrel from the day dot. Right? Remember back in 2017, Elon, when you bailed out on Trump, never forget that. When President Trump tried to get out of the Paris Accord, you said, I'm out of here, Trump, and you took your mate Bob Iger from Disney and the gang. And now, okay, you're trying to screw Trump over again because he got out of the Paris Accord again. You want Trump out. So you thought you'd use this one to try and screw Trump over the barrel. But in the end, Elon, you're the one that screwed yourself right up the bum. Right there. Time to drop the real bomb. Well, the bomb dropped on you, didn't it? Mark this post for future. Oh, yeah, no, we marked it, all right. You're marked, all right. You're gone. You're finished. So is all your friends. Okay? When I mean all your friends, I'm talking about all your billionaire friends. You're all finished. Oh, look at this. Elon Musk's estranged trans daughter says he was on the Caribbean. Implicated. There you go. Implicated. He was in Caribbean around the time new Epstein emails appears to show him arranging visits to the island. Implicated by his own daughter, or, whatever you want to call it. Then, wherever Elon went, so did these little, he had the trucks. Remember those digital trucks walking around the place, driving around the place with those big digital displays? Now it's also on bus stops. Look at that. Wherever you go, Elon, that shit's going to follow you. Will day and night will be on the wildest party on your island? That's at the bus stop. Yes, I'm sure Elon's Tesla will be going straight down the shitter, and it is 57% in January as the BYD, which is the Chinese version of Tesla, is surging and Elon's is plunging down. It doesn't give anyone the vote of confidence, does it, Elon? When you try to make it out about, Trump hiding the files, and literally what he's been waiting is to screw you over, which you just got screwed with your friends. Okay? They did. That was a brilliant move, President Trump. I really take my hat off to you because all the technocrats are getting screwed. Let's have a look at this. We received new data on election donations. Elon has been donating heavily to the Republican Party. $60.42 million. All these entities here are pushing cash towards the Republican midterms, praying. Elon's praying to God or Satan, wherever he prays to, okay, that the Republicans win because he knows that the left, there's no left anymore for them. For him, he's gone. He's finished. He knows he's screwed. He's praying that the Republicans win so they can save his ass, pretty much. And so is TL, Peter Thiel. So is Hoffman. So is all of them. Zuckerberg, Brin, Sergey Brin from Google. They're all praying that the Republicans win the midterms, because if, God forbid, they don't, they're all screwed. That's what I'm saying. Have a look around you. They're all being exposed. All done by design. Now, Epstein's Silicon Valley connections. Have a look at that. Bezos. All them. They're all involved. Now, let's talk about them, right? Silicon Valley. Do you remember how they were saying about all those agitating protesters, the ones that have got those signs that are printed up, they've been funded by something. President Trump has been exposing them. We go back to the Arabella advisors, the various slush funds, and who is the ones that have been contributing to the Arabella advisors through the various slush funds that have been set up to fund those agitators, these cast of characters, including Musk, Silicon Valley. I've been through that. I've shown you the records, all the documents, all the facts. So think about this. What, do you think they were always for Trump? Think again. So I'm saying they're all going down for the count. Forget about Elon. He's, see you later. He's finished. Even, by the way, Macron is exposing him. They're using Macron. I mean, Macron isn't a saint himself. We know he's involved in the Iranian deal, the money, that sort of business, the dirty, filthy stuff with the EU, NATO. But he's also exposing Elon. Have a look at this. Okay, let me just rewind that, guys. Bring that out. Let's play that back. Here we go. So this is Macron, okay, and he's speaking.
We cannot pretend just to have private money. And if you look at the US, you have a lot of private money in the US on the nuclear energy, but you have a lot of public money. If I take energy, it's true. If I take space, it's true. Everybody is fascinated by Starlink. I'm super happy. But if you are lucid, Mr. Musk is probably one of the guys of the world who had in his pocket the most we had $1 billion of the American taxpayer.
There we go. The American taxpayer's been paying for it all. Paying for Elon Musk to get richer and richer, and his friends. Now President Trump used Doge to destroy Elon and all those nefarious, shall we say, ways that they've been funding their evil projects, if you will, using the American taxpayers' dollars. Oh, yes. Don't you worry about that. President Trump knows what he's doing. Elon's days are numbered. They really are. Like his brother, he's implicated. His mother's implicated. Now his daddy's implicated as well, doing all that nefarious stuff. And like I said, there are those that are bringing out more and more about Elon Musk, even the left. It's not about left and right anymore, ladies and gentlemen. Have a look at this. Have a look at this. This is on Jon Stewart's show.
Perhaps the more extensive references were reserved for members of the billionaire class who traveled in Epstein's circles, including the billionairiest of them all.
New emails from billionaire Elon Musk and Epstein coordinating a possible visit to the financier's infamous island.
Elon says, do you have any parties planned? I really want to hit the party scene in St. Bart's or elsewhere and let loose.
I'm sorry, I hate to do this. Can we zoom in on the email on that, please? Christmas Day? You're asking if Jeff Epstein's got any parties planned on the island on Christmas Day? I mean, look, Christmas is tense time. We've all had that feeling, trapped in the house with the in-laws and 14 to 16 of our children over the holidays.
You see what I mean? So he's doing it deliberately. I mean, they're using the ones that the revered left. Remember, Elon came from the revered left. And now they're turned against him. Isn't it genius? That's what I'm saying. Everything's been done by design and he's being exposed. And then all of a sudden he's turned to the right side and he's been giving hand over fist millions and millions of dollars to save his life. Well, you know, Musk is pouring millions of dollars into fighting into GOP fight to keep Congress because he knows it's not about, it's not about the truth for Elon. It's not about, you know, exposing the Epstein predators. It's about saving his own behind and his friends. It's time for Elon to finish. And all the rest of them, because they are the ones that are been running the technocrats. You think we've had some sort of freedom? Forget about it. These technocrats are the ones that put these mechanisms in place, so we have none. And you see, you got the power brokers that own these social media platforms, and then it goes right up to the top. And we know where that goes, right? Brought it up many times. So people on the left, on the right, are calling Elon out. He's finished. His days are numbered. And like I said to people, I'm giving you the heads up. It's time for you to sell your Teslas. Get rid of them while you still can, because otherwise you're going to be left with dead weights. That's what you're going to be left with. That's the reality. Now, like I said, Elon's allegiance lies to Netanyahu. Netanyahu has basically been going there trying to run the show. Have a listen to what he says. So Netanyahu, just before he left, conditions set by Trump may create circumstances for achieving good deal with Iran. That's what he says. But then he says, but I've expressed general skepticism about possibility of reaching any agreement with Iran. Speaking right before his flight left to Israel. In other words, it's playing this game. You know, President Trump has set the conditions for circumstances to be achieving a good deal with Iran. But in other words, what he's saying is sowing the seeds of doubt, putting it out there that they want war. They want Iran under their control. That's why he went there. He went there to basically push his terms about Iran, and it backfired. Let's have a look.
אני סיימתי עכשיו ביקור קצר אבל חשוב.
I mean, what's it with these guys here? Have you seen these guys? They look like from Mortal Kombat, but they're actually, hasn't someone told them that the COVID's finished? No. These entities, ladies and gentlemen, these entities are part of the Mossad, like the elite, the ones that look after him. And you'll notice that they're all around the place when he's around.
בוושינגטון, בשיחה עם ידידנו הגדול, הנשיא טראמפ, יש בינינו קשר מאוד הדוק ומאוד אמיתי ומאוד גלוי. כמובן השיחות התמקדו בכמה וכמה נושאים, אבל למעשה במשא ומתן עם איראן. הנשיא חושב שהאיראנים כבר למדו אם יש להם עסק. הוא חושב שהתנאים שהוא יוצר, בשילוב העובדה שהם בוודאי מבינים שהם טעו בפעם הקודמת שהם לא עשו הסכם, שיכול להיות שיווצרו התנאים להשגת הסכם טוב. רוצה לשמוע את דעתי. אני לא אסתיר מכם שאני הבעתי סקפטיות כללית לגבי טיב הסכם כלשהו עם איראן, אבל אמרתי שאם אכן יושג הסכם, אז הוא חייב לכלול את האלמנטים שהם חשובים מאוד מבחינתנו, מבחינת ישראל, לדעתי לא רק ישראל, זאת אומרת, זה לא רק הגרעין, זה גם הטילים הבליסטיים, זה גם השלוחים האיראנים.
In other words, he doesn't care about now. He's saying, about the nuclear business. No, I want it all. That's what it is. He wants it all. He wants them to disarm. So think about this. Doesn't every country have a right to protect itself? Think about it. Think about why they developed nuclear weapons. It is to basically guarantee the sovereignty of a country. They call them deterrents. So why does India created their own nuclear weapons under the ground? We know that was all done. It was all done after they put the measures in place to stop producing bombs. Then Pakistan, what do they do it? It's to guarantee sovereignty. You don't see, let me put it to you this perspective. Does the United States go and bomb India, Pakistan, or any country that has nuclear weapons? No, they do not. Every country that they go and bomb, and Israel, have no nuclear weapons. Now you think about this. Iran had plenty of opportunities, that's a fact, to produce nuclear weapons. Israel did it right under the very noses, and they lied about it. They don't deny and they don't admit that they got nuclear weapons, but they do. Why doesn't anyone go and attack Israel as far as other countries? Don't talk about Iran. Iran will attack. Who cares? Iran's going to attack them because they had to defend themselves, and that's what happened. Israel attacked first. Iran had to reciprocate. And what was President Trump talking about the black cloud? How he stopped the black cloud was to cut the lunch off Bibi by going there and sending the B-2s to say, right, we got rid of their nuclear business, which they never had their nuclear bombs. They never had that intention, but they had to stop Bibi from dropping one and then blaming the material that was created by Iran. That's why President Trump says we stopped a black cloud over there. What he means is when he says Iran was close to having a nuclear weapon, think about the way he said it. Iran was close to having a nuclear weapon, in other words, copying it. And Israel had it in the cards to do. So you think about this. Iran had plenty of opportunities to do it. They didn't. So therefore, those countries that don't have it are basically subservient, or they're going to be attacked. Venezuela didn't have nuclear weapons. That's the reality in the world that we live in today. The countries make nuclear weapons to protect their sovereignty. It's a deterrence. Do you see countries going to, like, look what's happening with Ukraine? And Putin has said, you do what you do and you send a long-range missiles into Moscow, you're finished. We've got it. The nuclear doctrine has been, obviously reduced as far as the release of nuclear weapons. You don't see the United States going to bomb Moscow. They're always talking, but they're not bombing. Do you see what I mean? Does anyone go and bomb France? They don't have that. They won't do that because they've got nuclear deterrence. It's all about sovereignty. Now you think about Netanyahu. He wants to put his puppet, Reza Pahlavi, just like they try to install the puppet in Venezuela. And it failed. So what can we expect? What can we expect? So Bibi must be getting frustrated that President Trump is not doing what he's been told to do. There's people, like I said about Susie Wiles, she's there for the party's interest, but then the party are also controlled by State of Israel. Republicans, Democrats, it's all the same beast they serve. That's been proven through AIPAC, the lobbyists and all that. The thing is, President Trump's not playing ball. What's next? We know President Trump has in the past had many assassination attempts, the ones that are not brought out into the public arena, so to speak. But people know about these assassinations through Butler and the other one. Could it be possible? And that's what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen, anything is possible because you know how they work. It could get to the point where they get so frustrated. And remember, they got JD Vance. Who has Erica been backing? Who have these others been backing? And also, Chris Ruddy from Newsmax has been backing, he says he's going to back Ted Cruz. What are they trying to do is back somebody that is going to regain power for the deep state, the real deep state. The real deep state, ladies and gentlemen, which is those entities, as I said, State of Israel, House of Sword, all them. This is where things are. And we've got to look at it from this standpoint, false flags. There is an increase in false flags and you could see it around you. Done by design. They know that their end is near. Evil, what evil will do, they will try to take down as many as it can. It doesn't care. And remember, President Trump is insulated and protected. But like I said, false flags are everywhere and they're going to increase. And they may even increase in intensity. Look out. Because when Bibi Netanyahu is making these kind of statements, it means something is coming. Now, President Trump has got the Armada there, over there in the Middle East. Bibi wants President Trump to go and take down Iran for him. Remember, what did he say? I showed you what he said before. It's about taking down America, ladies and gentlemen. He wants to take down America. Look at this. It's there in black and white, literally right in front of your face. Then you got George Soros, which is plus, that is also working the other angle and using immigration, people as pawns to flood countries and to manipulate the votes. Then you're seeing what's going on with this whole thing with ICE, with agitators, and all this sort of thing that's going on. And there are those that are in ICE that are agitators themselves, that are causing issues. Which is dirtying the waters. You think about it. What did JFK say? Infiltration instead of invasion. Now think about that. Infiltration. That word right there. Infiltration instead of invasion. In other words, you infiltrate the ranks, you infiltrate the agencies, and then you coordinate from within. JFK knew how they operated, how they were working. Never forget, they did it with Obama. Worth remembering, Q drop 4649. Worth remembering, infiltration and placement under 44. Obama. They infiltrated the government. Then they put in people that were from foreign entities, Saudi Arabia. Remember, groomed Prince Al-Walid, groomed Obama for the role of president. Then all those others that were in there were from those Middle Eastern countries. Now, ICE, you got to look at it from this perspective, was created to protect the borders. Now, you think about this. They infiltrate ICE and then they place others in there and then they coordinate, and that creates, shall we say, it dirties the waters and it creates, shall we say, problems for the mass consciousness. It discredits what they're trying to do, what they were created for. It's what we're in psychological warfare, ladies and gentlemen. We're in psychological warfare and we're in deep. So there are entities that are in ICE. Look at this. So insurgency, irregular warfare. We are literally in irregular warfare. Insurgency, infiltration, not invasion. Invasion is this. You see the enemy, you can attack the enemy. You could see them, they're coming front on. You know who the enemy is. But when the enemy is from within and they're infiltrated, you don't know who they are. And that's how they work, like a cancer from within and destroying everything. Do you see how it's working? And then you got to remember, where was these entities trained? Israel. The whistleblowers come out and said Israel. Mossad, IDF are the ones that are training these ICE agents, police and all the rest of them with their tactics. You think they don't teach them the tactics of how to dirty the waters, psychological operations? They specialize in it. You've seen how they work, how they're able to work anywhere. They are the actors, they're the producers, they're the directors. And that's exactly what's going on within America, ladies and gentlemen, and not just America, in the world. You've seen it here in Australia. You've seen it all around the world. They are deployed everywhere. Expect more false flags. That's all I'm going to tell you, because it's going to increase with intensity, and you need to keep yourself, shall we say, centered. Realize what's going on. Know thy enemy. Watch my previous shows when I've exposed the enemy over and over again. The Mossad, their media assets, the ones in the guise of truthers, which are really Mossad assets again. We know also that Epstein was a Mossad asset, trained by the former prime minister, who happened to be the one that head the Israeli Defense Force back in the day. And remember, they all work in conjunction with one another. Unit 8200, Mossad, and all the rest of them. They all work together. Then when you're seeing, and obviously people are getting angry, it's like, didn't President Trump say about Venezuela, the oil going to the United States? No, apparently it went in the other direction, which obviously it's making people more angry, as if he's gaslighting people and is awakening people on the left and the right, because it is. It's not about the left and right anymore. The right people are saying, we didn't vote for this. We didn't want this. You promise us out of these wars. You promise this and you promise that. And they're just basically, they're finding unity with the left because it's not about left and right anymore. People are starting to be awoken and aware. And that's exactly what President Trump wants, is for people to be awakened and aware. When President Trump said he was going to take all the slings and arrows, he literally meant it. He literally did. So Venezuela sends oil to Israel for the first time in years after Maduro's capture. And that's from Bloomberg. It's very, very, shall we say, interesting times that we're living in right now. And what we need to do is to make sure that we have our sanity in check. Very important. And as we continue, there's going to be a lot more, shall we say, reveals. A lot more reveals. This is just the beginning. This is just the beginning of what is going to be exposed. Now, remember, CNN, all these other mainstream media agencies, we know that Q has spoken about them, how they operate and all that. Has everybody seen this footage, which I'm going to show you now? Now, this comes from a body camera footage of a Border Patrol agent. Now, think about this. Border Patrol, Bombino. And there are those that have been, think about infiltration instead of invasion. Think about that. Think about what JFK said. How do you dirty the waters? How do you get people to hate the thing that was created to protect the American people and to protect their borders? You infiltrate that agency. You create, shall we say, so much discord by doing so much damage in there that the moment that people say that word, that they cringe. And not just the people, the world is saying it now. It's all around the world. They've basically been shown that ICE is evil, and the ones that are in there are doing it, deliberately dirtying the waters. And what President Trump is trying to do, obviously, is see exactly what's going on. This is moves and counter moves, ladies and gentlemen. This is psychological warfare that we're in. And let me tell you, that's what Q says, saving Israel for last, because it all points in that direction. Let's watch this video here, please.
This is newly released body camera video. A team of 3 Border Patrol agents is driving through a Southside Chicago neighborhood. 2 have guns drawn. Marimar Martinez, an American citizen and school teacher, is driving next to them, honking her horn, warning people to the presence of federal immigration enforcement. Another vehicle is behind the agents, also honking the horn.
All right, it's time to get aggressive and get the out, because they're trying to box us in.
It all happens in seconds.
All right, that's fine, man. All right, out of the car. Be advised, we've been struck, we've been struck.
Martinez was shot 5 times and survived. In this surveillance video, you can see the front of the agent's SUV come to a stop. 4 seconds later, Martinez's silver Nissan drives off, she says, fearing for her life. The Department of Homeland Security was quick to accuse her of attacking federal law enforcement, saying Border Patrol agents were, quote, ambushed by domestic terrorists that rammed federal agents with their vehicles. FBI Director Kash Patel posted on social media about the incident, quote, attack our law enforcement and this FBI will find you and bring you to justice. The post also included a link to video of a car ramming, but it had no connection to Martinez's case. And the body camera video tells a different story. In the lead up to the collision, you hear agents say they are going to collide with Martinez.
We're going to make contact and we're boxed in.
And just before the moment of impact, it's Agent Charles Exum who sharply turns his steering wheel in the direction of Martinez, proof, according to her attorney, that they hit her vehicle, not the other way around. And as for the claim of being boxed in, this surveillance video calls that comment into question, with nothing in the path ahead of the border agent's vehicle. The court also released text messages and emails from after the shooting, including one message from Border Patrol Commander Gregory Bovino, just hours after the incident, offering to delay the retirement of Agent Exum, who shot Martinez. In light of your excellent service in Chicago, you have much left to do. And then a text message exchange between Agent Exum and someone whose name was redacted. Are they supportive? Someone asked. Big time. Everyone has been, including Chief Bovino, Chief Banks, Secretary Noem, and El Jefe himself. In various texts to and from fellow agents, the mood was celebratory. Good job, brother. You are a legend among agents. You better effing know that. Beers on me when I see you at training. That's awesome. You did real good. Damn it, man. Good shooting. The day after the shooting, Martinez was indicted. According to the complaint, she, quote, forcibly assaulted, resisted, opposed, impeded, intimidated, and interfered with an officer of the United States. After her attorney viewed the body camera footage and other evidence emerged that undermined the government's version of events, prosecutors made an extraordinary move and asked the judge to drop their own case. The judge agreed, but not long after, she told me the shooting still haunts her.
I don't want to remember that day. You're laying there at night and you're just thinking about it, like, what's gonna happen? Like, it's really emotional to me. So it's like, it's hard for me to talk about it, but I'm trying.
Right. So let's analyze the situation. Everyone can see that obviously ICE are being painted in a bad light. Those involved, these people, Bovino and all the rest of them, this is what I'm saying. You got to look at the bigger picture, infiltration. Now, let me tell you something else. Who owns CNN? You got to remember, it's the same people that own Rumble, BlackRock and Vanguard. The same people that own YouTube, BlackRock and Vanguard. It's the same people that own Meta. It's the same people that own Google. It's the same people that control everything, BlackRock and Vanguard. The power brokers once again. CNN is owned by Warner Brothers Discovery with the Vanguard Group. Vanguard owns BlackRock, ladies and gentlemen. Other major institutional investors in the parent company include BlackRock, Vanguard, BlackRock, Vanguard, BlackRock, Vanguard, BlackRock, right at the top of everything. Pfizer, BlackRock, Vanguard. Problem, solution. Everything is linked to them. And then they're the power brokers, and we've got plus, double plus, triple plus, Soros, Rothschilds, House of Sword. All of them are involved. So you think about this. They got Bongino jumping up and down about BlackRock and Vanguard, where he's buddies with them, with Rumble. YouTube, same. Vimeo, same. All of them, the same. All these social media is owned by them. What hope do we have when at the top of this all, and we've got the same entities that are running the show, giving us the illusion that they're different. Oh, they're freedom of speech. No, they're the left. No, they're the right. They're this, they're that. They're all owned by the same entities. Even what's going on with this transgender business, this shooting. Who's the one that supplied the drugs for this transition? Pfizer. That's been proven. Pfizer, BlackRock and Vanguard again. Problem, solution. Problem, solution. This is the same playbook that's been played over and over and over and over again on humanity. People are living some illusion thinking that they got power or control over their lives. Are you serious? They're all owned by BlackRock and Vanguard. Oh, I feel like going to Kentucky Fried Chicken today, BlackRock and Vanguard. Oh, no, they're different to McDonald's, BlackRock and Vanguard again. Oh, I'll go to this one and that one, BlackRock and Vanguard. We'll go to the supermarket and buy BlackRock and Vanguard again. We'll go and watch no, BlackRock and Vanguard again. Oh, Rumble's separate to the others and they are about freedom of speech, BlackRock and Vanguard again. Right up the top of that bloody pyramid is BlackRock and Vanguard. And people think that they got the control over their lives, that this illusion, because it's an illusion, ladies and gentlemen, that we've been living. An illusion based on lies and deception. Well, I'm exposing it all. The others are sitting there, they're just cheering it all on so they can get paid. Their monetization. No, we're not going to say anything against them. We're not going to get monetized. I better watch what I say. I better watch what I say because my sponsors won't sponsor me and give me the cash anymore. That's all they care about. They don't have a noose on. I don't have a noose on my neck over there. No. They don't have control over me. But what they do is they control this platform by not allowing it to reach to the non-followers. Like I said, God forbid that this information, this powerhouse of information that you get here on the Freedom Channel broadcast with me goes out there, it would be game over for all of them. Because I would awaken the masses in such a large number they wouldn't believe. That's why they got the algorithm. Do you get what I mean? Consider the algorithm to be a firewall. That's what it is. It's a firewall that is unpenetrable, that is controlled by them. They block what, they don't want me getting out there. They don't want me getting the truth out there, ladies and gentlemen. They don't want people empowered. They want people subservient to them. That's why I've said it's about time that 1044, Q drop 1044. It's time, ladies and gentlemen. It's time. People are awakening to levels of awareness, and those that are listening to me right now, you got to start pulling that bloody Band-Aid off. Otherwise, we're going to be doing this forever and ever. No, sorry. It's time for the Band-Aid to come off. It's time for the Google kill, Facebook kill, YouTube kill, Instagram kill, Yahoo kill, and anyone that sits there and doesn't want it, don't support, they play the game. This is the thing. They play the 17s. They play the Q card when it suits them. They're on Instagram, blah, blah, this and blah, blah, that. But the moment you speak about Q drops that make them uncomfortable and it cuts their lunch, no, they won't. They don't want that happening. They want to continue on. They want this to continue on so they can make more and more money. They are greedy. They are greedy. These influencers out there, they are so greedy. They don't care about humanity. They don't care about you. They don't care about anything. All they care about is how much money they make, their lifestyle. But now, guess what's happening? Bitcoin's gone down the shitter, hasn't it? And this is the thing. There's a reason why Bitcoin's gone down the shitter. But you're going to have to wait for the next show. I want to say thank you to everybody. Hopefully you got a lot out of tonight's show. I want to say thank you to Carol. Thank you to Siren. Now, please give to this platform. Basically, give so much and ask so little. I want to say thank you to those that have donated. However, we don't get enough to be able to take it to the next step, to be able to bring this platform to where it deserves. But what we do is, with what we got, we try to keep our expenses in check. We don't get monetized because you know that Rumble aren't going to give me cash. Forget about it. They don't give me jack bloody shit. Rumble, don't think about this freedom of speech crap. That's just an illusion. Frankly, it's disgusting because they're enabling those that go out there and spread the opposite. Fear, disinformation, misinformation. X, you've seen what I have to deal with. Frankly, I'm disgusted with X. In the sense of, I mean, look, it shouldn't surprise you. I mean, after all, Elon's in control. Obviously, they don't want the truth getting out, and they're going to give me all sorts of grief, aren't they? They want me to pay money. Get this. They want me to pay money where to pay for subscriptions, which I've done in the past, and yet they haven't pushed me out there at all. They haven't helped me. And all I get is some cockamamie artificial intelligence giving me excuses after excuses. And then they expect me to go and get verified, to pay more money to them. And then they have the audacity. Oh, I'm not kidding you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not kidding you at all. They have the audacity to say, okay, look at this, right? So basically, because I disputed a claim, let me show you. We added look at this. Why does my account have a label? Platform manipulation. The only one that's been manipulating that platform, my friend, or not even my friends, is you at X, okay? We have found that your account contains spam or been engaged in other types of platform manipulation. All I said, right, was that I wanted to reset the algorithm. I did exactly what Grok told me to do and not to post anything for 3 days. They consider that to be manipulation. Look at this. After I disputed it, let me show you. After I disputed it, what do? Because they have nothing. Your account is found your account was not found to contain spam or engage in other types of platform manipulation. So after I disputed it, that's what the conclusion. So they took it off now. Spam label review update. Is that what you call it? Spam? What about all the other garbage that goes out there on X? All the porn, all the disgusting filth that you push out there, X, has got millions and millions of views, whereas someone like me that's trying to bring out the truth, you're using an algorithm to deboost me, ruin my reputation score, and try to push me out of the equation rather than put me into the equation and increase my non-followers. Why? No, I'll be having a conversation with X and I'll make sure I record it so everybody hears that conversation. That's what's going to happen. Because you know what, ladies and gentlemen, frankly, I've been targeted. And I've been with X for a very, very long time, and I paid subscriptions, and I was not pushed out there. They want me to keep paying my subscriptions. They wanted to keep reminding me to pay, but they didn't help me at all. There's going to be some, shall we say, some words that are going to be exchanged with X, and very soon. And you're going to hear that conversation between myself and the representative, whoever it is, at X. Because I think it's about time that they get exposed as to what they're doing. I'm going to bring all the code with me. I'm going to show them the code, how they deboost, how they used a reputation score, how they're able to manipulate the platform themselves in not allowing me to reach the non-followers. I'm going to show it all. And they're not going to have a word to say after that. But you know what it is? It's as simple as this. It's their platform. It's their platform. It's their domain. And if you don't like it, get out, because you've signed and you not like, you know, how you agree to their terms and conditions, which nobody bothers to read because it's so huge, right? Because, you know, you're giving all your rights away. You realize that? Even when you think you got a bank account and you think, oh, it's my account. No, it's called the bank's account for a reason. They call it X account for a reason as well. They own it, not you. That's how they're able to get all your data, all your information, because you've agreed to the terms and conditions that, frankly, you need years of reading to be able to get through it. That's the reality. That's when they say your Facebook account. Facebook is the key word. Facebook account, their account, X account, their account, your Rumble account, their account. It's their account, their domain, their rules. You don't listen to them, you're going to cop it. That's exactly what's happened to me, because I've exposed them all. They don't like it one bloody bit. And it's going to continue right to the very end. Because you know what? I'm about the truth. I'm about the facts, evidence, and receipts. And I ain't going to give up, and I ain't going to give in. They try to demoralize me by demonetizing me. How long is this man going to keep going without getting paid? How's this man going to keep going when we don't allow him to reach the non-followers? We're trying to demoralize me. Then they try to push their advertisers. They advertise relentlessly on my platform, on my videos. And they get paid, but I don't. I get paid jack bloody shit. So anyone in this scenario would say, well, why is it worth sleeping only a few hours every day, working every single day, spending money, trying to, get better equipment with the money that you have, do this, do that. Why is it worth it? Because anyone in their right frame of mind would say, no, it ain't worth it. Am I stupid or silly to be here, do this day in and day out, ladies and gentlemen? It shows, this is what it shows. It shows commitment, it shows drive, it shows passion. Because let me tell you something, the others wouldn't be sitting there doing it for nothing. The others are making money hand over fist, monetized like you wouldn't believe, surfing that 50 leaderboard, top 50 piece of shit over there. Because as I said, shit floats to the top. Why isn't Don Jr. on there? Why isn't, shall we say, Tucker Carlson on the 50 leaderboard? Why aren't the others on there? Because only shit floats to the top. And if you want to know who the top number one piece of shit is on that board, it's Mr. Bongino. That's why I'm saying rigged for Bongino all the way right through the whole thing and his friends. Rumble is rigged. YouTube is rigged. All of this is rigged. All these platforms, ladies and gentlemen, are fixed. You either comply or you die. That's how it works here. Well, I choose not to comply, but I won't die. Because we are fighters. We never give up. We never give in. And one day, ladies and gentlemen, we will have our reckoning. One day, it's coming. And those entities that sat out there, they were riding the Trump gravy train, riding the Rumble train, and everyone else getting all cashed up and monetized. You're going to be finished. Your days are numbered. Your days are coming. And then when that kill list happens, Q drop 1044, you're all gone. You won't be standing anymore. You'll be finished. And the truth will come out. One way or the other, because it's always been about the truth. It's never been about the bloody money for me, ladies and gentlemen. I've been here for years. I've been here for years. I've been out in the streets protesting against the goon squad. Did the others do it? No, they didn't. They're sitting around doing their stupid little seminars and pieces of shit going around the place, making money, promising the world to these poor people out there that believe their crap, their gullible bullshit. And then that discredits us. It discredits us because you know why? Because we're trying to get the real truth out there, and we're dealing with these entities, and then we're painted with the same brush as well. That's the problem. Well, I choose to separate myself. I've done it. This is it. I'm separating myself from all of these entities. I want nothing to do with them. I don't want nothing to do with any of these entities anymore. I'm wiping my hands clean, and I'm going to punch right through that wall. Don't you worry. And we're going to get there. One way or the other, the truth is going to get out there. And we're going to do it each and every time. We're not going to give up. We're not going to give in. We're going to keep pushing through that wall until that wall breaks. So anyway, guys, thank you very much for tuning into the Freedom Channel broadcast with yours truly, FCB. Until next time, God bless you all. And then I'm looking at increasing and giving more, more podcasts, things like that, getting more information out, going on walks because I miss doing my walks. I haven't been out for walks and taking you out in the bush again. So anyway, God bless you all. Thank you. Cheers, everyone. Thank you, Carol.